Up the Mohawk Valley, this is WIBX, the voice of the Mohawk Valley, calling out across the airwaves as we have for 100 remarkable years. Yes, indeed, friends, it was a cold winter day, December the 5th, 1925, when WIBX first signed on the air, a tiny spark in the infancy of American broadcasting. And oh, what a century that spark would ignite. When history whispered, when history shouted, and when history roared. We were here when the great ship Titanic slipped beneath the icy Atlantic. We stood vigilant through the dark storm of World War II, bringing news from far-off fronts to families waiting by their radios. We carried the shock and sorrow of our nation's tragedies, the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and Senator Robert Kennedy, moments when America held its breath and looked to voices like ours for truth. We were there when President Richard Nixon resigned his office, when the Challenger broke apart in the sky, and that terrible morning on September 11, 2001, WIBX once again became the Mohawk Valley's gathering place, a source for clarity in the chaos. But our story, dear listeners, is not only the nation's story, it's our story, Utica's story, Rome's story, and the Mohawk Valley's story. And along the way, WIBX became more than a station. It became a companion. And now, as we stand at the threshold of a brand new century of broadcasting, with digital signals streaming their waves and voices traveling farther than our founders ever dreamed, we pause to say thank you to our listeners, our community, and the generations who kept the WIBX flame burning bright. From 1925 to 2025 and boldly into the next 100 years. This is WIBX, your station, your stories, your voice. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. The next century begins now.
Celebrating 100 years.
This is Keeler.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM.
Now back to the Keeler Show.
Well, Jeff Manansky, good morning. It is it would have been a crime to have this day occur without you here.
Well, thank you very much.
It really, really would be.
And
I mean,
I've said this for almost 15 years. It was a crime that we ever brought you on to begin with.
Believe me. I know there are those that still to this day believe it to be true.
So am I being cut free after the show? Is that what's
no,
going to happen?
I don't. Well, I guess none of us know. We could all be gone. Well, 100 years is enough, I think.
I just want you to know you did a great job with that intro there.
That, by the way, shows the technology of 2025, 100 years later.
Yes.
Where I am able to duplicate the original voice from the sign-on, which actually, that was when we went from 12:30 a.m. which was a 500-watt station,
yes,
to a 5,000-watt station, I believe in 1948. And that was the original voice, and I can actually play some of that coming up. The original voice talking about the 100 years and everything that we have been through.
So I'm glad you did that. My suggestion, and I'm glad we didn't take this, was to go 100 minutes of silence to show the area what we would have been like if we weren't here and we were going to go out and get breakfast this morning. But apparently they said, no, let's do a show.
We're
and
here.
if I can just have you on that corner there,
move them right down.
We'll have you right on our YouTube feed.
And watch that coffee. Is it?
Yes. Nobody spills coffee like Jeff Manansky.
So I have a whole bunch of audio to get to today, and we have a bunch of people that will be in as well to help us celebrate 100 years. Here's a little something.
My mommy taught me what to do to get good music, news, and weather too. I turn to 950 on the dial. WIBX make my day worthwhile.
That's original. So
is that original?
That's all real.
Wow.
Yeah. And that stuff all came off, it was all archived on vinyl, which was not protected here by any means. And thanks to Jeff Storm, who did a lot of saving of the materials. Some of the stuff's still here, and we're doing our best to digitize it all and save it all so that there will be something for the next 100 years to come. If we're here, God willing, that we're all here in studio right now to help us celebrate and kick it off is Ed Welch, one of the longest-running employees here at WIBX, one of the longest-running shows. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Wild, right?
Thank you.
And it really is
you too.
It is a happy birthday and a happy anniversary to everyone who's listened over the years, but everybody who's worked here over the years, because everybody did their part.
Yes.
I guess some parts bigger than others, but I'm not sure there's a more difficult time to be carrying on the torch as right now. I imagine in the very beginning it was difficult. Remember, this station went through from 1925, its infancy, where most people didn't have a radio, went through the Great Depression, through World War II, Korea, Vietnam, the assassinations, it just is incredible how much it has been through and survived. And now we're going through an amazing transformation in radio, and you wonder where we'll be in 5 years and 10 years down the road. There's a big question out there today.
There is, and I think the first thing they need to do is make sure they don't take AM radios out of cars.
I agree. I think that's a big, and I think we're okay, right? And it seems to be enough of a lobby out there to keep the AM radio in the car.
Yeah, I've been following that, of course, and
although I got to tell you, in the new cars, I think it was Paul Buckley that asked me to step out. The show had ended. He was on at 8:30. He asked me to step out into the parking lot, and he said, "I've got this new car. Could you do me a favor and tune in IBX? I can't figure out how to do it. It's not easy to manipulate these radios. There's nothing as great as the classic radio, the classic AM/FM, where you just hit the button and turn the dial. It is not so simple today in some of these cars."
No, and I've read where there's some efforts to put buttons back.
That would be nice.
And we'll see what happens. Young people like touch screens. Old people like me like buttons. And
but I even you could live with a touchscreen, but it's some cars are so difficult to find. Where is how do you get to AM and FM, and your phone is already kicking on? But then again, you have the app, and we're there with that technology as well.
Yeah, I mean, in my car, I just press the button, say AM 950.
Yeah, that's good. That works.
And it works.
That works.
You say it. You have to actually say it.
I mean, I could do it mechanically.
Yeah,
but I can just press the button and say it, and it goes. So if I want to listen to Sirius Radio, I just say which channel I want. But normally I just say AM 950 and it goes right to it.
I got to tell you, it's when you see a kid, for instance, the TV boxes that everybody seems to have now. The best thing you can do is to have your son, your daughter, your grandson, your granddaughter. You hand it to them and say, "Here, set this up on the TV." Yeah. They've grown up with the technology. But I do think that the voice command technology is used more by the older population than it is by the younger population. It's used a lot. People
I agree.
Love the voice to the dictation, all of that stuff. It does make it easier because the phone, the technology, kind of does the work.
That's why I think old people are going to adopt AI first.
I think you may be right. If you could, some of your memories over the years, and obviously for those that don't remember, one of the great losses was your gain in your career move, but it moved you away from AAA and away from Auto Talk, which was legendary here at WIBX.
You know what? And I miss doing the show every Saturday morning. I still get up at 4:30 on Saturday morning, like I'm going to come to the studio.
Yeah.
And my wife says, "You're nuts," and I'm like, "This is what I did for 32 years." And of course, I can remember when I think Jeff was in high school, and actually came in and produced me sometimes on Saturday mornings.
I was just out of high school.
Yeah,
and,
just out.
And so he was, young guy, and of course,
Yeah.
I remember certainly when Davey started here, and Davey was my producer forever. Once he came on board, but I remember my first time on the radio was about 1986 1986.
Okay.
And Tom Coyne was the host of the Talk of Central New York. And
I remember that.
And he was, and again, that was a great morning show we had here for many, many years. That show, the name of that show went on for decades behind him.
Yeah.
And we got a call, again, because I was working for AAA. The car stuff there had some interest, and we had a cold weather snap like we have today. It was early in the season. It was like 0 out. And they said, hey, would you mind coming up to the studio and talk about car stuff? And I said, yeah, I could do that. So I came up here and we took live calls, and of course, we had
a lot of things start that way. It's like, wow, we've got a lot of calls on this. Maybe we should do a show.
Well, it's exactly what happened. And of course, we don't screen calls, so whatever they asked me, I just answered.
Right.
So a few weeks later, I get a call from Tom Yurchak, who says, hey, can you come up and do that again? And I said, sure. So I came up and do it again. Then a few weeks after that, I get a call, and they want to have lunch.
Oh, interesting. That's always that's either good news or bad
I figured,
news.
why are they calling me for lunch? But at any rate, they offered me the opportunity to have my own show, and I thought they were out of their minds.
Yeah.
And I says, I'm not a radio guy. I mean, I'm not. I'm just not. I'm not
But you're
trained.
a car
I'm
guy,
not a
and
broadcaster. I don't know much about any of this. So then they said, well, if you want to try this out, and it's truly a funny story because I told them they wanted to pay me, and I refused to take a pay.
Yeah.
And Tom thought I was crazy, and he says, what do you mean? I go, look, I says, when I take money from somebody, I feel obligated to them.
Right.
And I says, if I don't think this is going to work out, I want to be able to walk away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't realize I could have just walked away anyways, but I was trying to
In your
position
head,
myself
you're
in my
making it
head. I'm
work.
like,
Yeah.
So he goes, and by the way, we want you on noon to 2 on Saturdays. And I said, when?
Yeah, that's tough because it's right in the middle of Saturday.
Right. So I said, okay, 2 hours on Saturday. So you had the morning stuff, and of course Linda Robbins was before me.
Yeah.
And then we'd go to sports at 2:00, whatever was going on with sports.
Yeah, that was something I always found interesting. Ed, you would share these stories that there was a time on Saturdays where your show was followed by Sports Watch. And again, Saturdays, I guess depending on the time of the year, but generally speaking, Saturday is a big sports day, certainly during the college football season and college basketball season. But there was a live call-in Sports Watch edition that aired on the weekends as well.
Absolutely. And so when I was learning how to, and of course we're at the old studio up in Clarks Mills.
Yeah. And
we had the carts. And how to run the board was on a mimeograph sheet. I might still have it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, how it normally goes, zero training, get in front of the microphone.
Make it work, yeah.
And so Danny Klingscale was on after me at that time. And so Danny would be in that studio. Because remember, we had the guest part of the studio where you could sit. And so he'd be sitting on the couch, and he'd have the sporting news. And he'd have it up in the air where I couldn't see him. And he's getting ready to do Sports Watch, right? So, and I'm fumbling and trying to figure this out. And I'm reading the log and looking at the carts and trying to get the cart machine loaded and all the stuff that you had to do. And I'm kind of fumbling around.
Yeah.
And so there's this thing on the log, and we were this company called Ace Fence, and they were giving away fence. But my job was to collect qualifiers for the big contest, right?
Yep.
So I saw it on the log, and I go, "What the hell is this?" So and I says, "Hey, Danny," and I was coming up. I go, "Danny," what do I do with this GD? I said, part of the 7 words you can't say on radio or TV at the time, which was very much enforced back in those days.
Yes.
I says, how do you run this GD thing?
Yeah.
And he looks out over the newspaper. He peers out over the top of it. He jumps out of his chair, flies over the board, and shuts the mic off.
Yeah.
And I realized
you were live.
I was live.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was mortified. And so we have the carts in. We go to the commercial. We run it and all this other stuff. And I'm like, I go, oh my goodness. I said, I can't do this.
Yeah.
and Danny says, Ed, nobody heard you.
Right.
I go, what do you mean nobody heard me? He goes, no, they thought they heard something, but nobody heard anything.
That's right.
And I said, really? And he goes, trust me on this. So I said, okay. So I go back to live. I start taking phone calls. First phone call, the guy says, hey, Ed, have you figured out that thing yet? and
yeah, they heard it.
And I was like, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
And so that was a funny
That's
story.
a crash course.
Yeah, that was a crash course.
That is
and
a crash course, there's no doubt.
And of course, the biggest sin of all, besides saying one of the 7 words,
yes,
is dead airspace.
Yeah.
So I realized that sometimes on Saturday, there's not a whole lot of people listening between noon and 2 on a beautiful Saturday morning.
Yeah, when the weather's nice,
yes.
the listenership will change.
Right. So what I basically did was I started doing boatloads of research. I broke my show up into segments, and I would just bring boatloads of things to talk about.
And it happened.
Yeah.
And it turned into.
So it became like my self-improvement course on how to do this.
Yeah.
And so some years go by, and somebody says, Ed, maybe you want to, because you're too serious of a guy. and back then I was probably more serious than I am now. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, you're very serious. And I go, well, yeah, this is broadcasting. It is serious. I wasn't what you used to do. I wasn't doing what you used to do. I wasn't this was WIBX.
Right.
This was like the
There's
flagship.
no laughing at IBM.
No, this was the flagship of everything here. And I was like, I've always felt like I didn't deserve to be here.
Yeah.
So I always felt very privileged to be on this radio station, because to me this was the most important radio station in the whole valley.
Yeah.
And one of the most important.
And it really was and has been.
I looked at this like I looked at WGY down in Schenectady or SYR in Syracuse.
Sure.
Yep.
And I said, these are legacy radio stations.
Yeah.
So I always felt, like privileged and
Well,
honored
and it
to
wasn't
be here.
until years later that other stations came into the mix. The move from 500 watts for IBX to 5,000 was enormous, because it took us from Canastota all the way down to Amsterdam.
Correct.
And
I was able to listen to us all the way to Canada.
Yeah. To this day, you can almost get us. Ultimately, if you switch to the app, you can get us anywhere in the world, but almost to Albany, as a matter of fact. So.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I did produce your show a little bit. To me, Davey will always be your producer, but there were many Saturdays I was here producing Auto Talk with Ed Welsh. And I always have to say, to follow up on the point you just made, Ed would bring in a stack of papers 2.5, 3 inches thick of all these different things that he wanted to talk about, news on automobiles, whether they were, and you could run off this list better than me, but I mean, we've seen the technological changes in vehicles, consumer reports on what vehicle was better than the other vehicle. If there were brake issues in a certain model of a vehicle, you would have all this latest information in the car world to inform the public. And typically you would open with a little, maybe 5-8 minutes worth of content, kind of an opening segment, and then you would take calls for the rest of the hour. And you wouldn't even dent that 3 inches worth of content that he prepared.
And the calls, they came in for years, as a matter of fact.
Absolutely.
People have questions about their vehicles. It's the one common thing that we all can relate to.
I used to say that the automobile is the prime mover of the American economy.
Yeah, yeah.
And I read 19 automotive magazine journals a month.
Wow.
And some were weekly, some were monthly, because this all started before the internet.
Right.
So a person suggested I should be more funny.
Okay.
All
right.
So I come in one Saturday morning. I'm thinking about how am I going to do this, and so I said, okay, I'm going to try to lighten it up a little bit, and I get a call, and it was an older woman, and I could tell by her voice she was older.
Yeah.
And she was like, Ed, and I'm like, how can I help you? And she says, how can I tell if my battery's dead? And I decided at that moment to try to be funny.
Right.
So I said, do you know what kind of car? She told me what car she had, and it was an Oldsmobile.
Yeah.
And I said, do you know how to open your hood? And she said, yes. So I said, okay, open your hood. And I said, when you go to the front of your car, and I says, where the headlights are. And she was, yes. And I says, okay, behind the driver's headlight, you're going to find the battery. And she says, well, she thinks she can find it. I said, good. And I says, here's how you can tell if it's dead. If it's dead, it'll be laying upside down with its feet in the air, and rigor mortis will set in about an hour. And of course, it was just dead silence.
Of course. Yeah.
And I realized what a terrible thing I had just done.
Yeah.
Because, I said, I was trying to be funny at the expense of a caller.
Right.
And
making fun versus
right.
being funny.
And of course,
fun,
and I think one of the reasons the show was successful is I took everyone's problems seriously.
Yeah, yeah.
So I actually felt horrible after that. And I said, I'm never going to do that again. But I said, I recognize that maybe I need to lighten things up a little bit.
And you were really the precursor to YouTube. How do I ... And now everybody goes to YouTube.
YouTube's easy,
and it'll show you how to do it.
Right. So I created a segment of my show called The Glove Box.
Yeah.
And I would find all goofy things and I throw it in the glove box. If you go to your glove box and your car, it's full of crap usually, right?
It is.
So we did I had a segment. I would find something funny. I think one of my favorite ones were the favorite cars of the presidents. And Bill Clinton's favorite car was the Ford Mustang, like a 66 Mustang.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand how could it be his favorite car because it had no back seat.
Right.
So that was the direction I went with. That was the direction I went, trying to be funny, and that worked out. And that worked out, so I didn't have to
make fun of a caller.
Right, which is to me a cardinal sin.
Especially an older caller that.
And especially the type of show it was. It's informational. Yes. It wasn't
my show,
a potpourri.
Entertainment.
Oh, this is a potpourri show.
Right.
Yeah.
But I realize you have to be entertaining.
Yeah.
You have to engage the audience. So I said, okay, I've got to have good information. I got to be light a little bit, but I got to take whatever problems they're having very seriously. And I think that was kind of the formula.
And it was a legendary program here for many years, and I wish it was still here. There are times I have questions about my own car, and you'd love to be able to make the phone call and find out. Ed Welch, a big part of our 100 years, the modern part.
Part, yeah.
But a big part of it.
A huge chunk of it.
Manassi, I'll have you do a quick news update, and this will be a bit of a throwback as well. Quick update, and then some weather, and then we'll speak with Willie Waffle coming up in a second. Here's another world where it used to be what's at the theater, and while he still covers that, the world we're in now is what are you streaming? That's like the big thing. Hey, we found this great show to watch. It's on whatever app, and we'll speak with Willie coming up in just a second. WIBX news time is 6:45.
All right, it is 4 below in Utica and Rome, 7 below in Clinton, 3 below in Herkimer. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 6:45. A federal appeals court is allowing the Trump administration to keep National Guard troops in Washington, D.C. The court lifted an injunction that had required the troops to leave by December 11th, though the ruling is temporary and does not address the merits of the case. Officials say they finally arrested a man accused of planting pipe bombs outside both major party headquarters just before the January 6th riot. Attorney General Pam Bondi says Brian Cole Jr. was taken into custody Thursday, and the investigation is ongoing. Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel both credited the Trump team for pushing to close the case while criticizing the Biden administration for what they called years of inaction. A grand jury has declined to indict New York Attorney General Letitia James on mortgage fraud claims for the second time. Earlier charges had been thrown out just 10 days ago after James was previously indicted on one count of bank fraud and another of making false statements to a financial institution. James has denied any wrongdoing and has become a frequent political target of President Trump. Top Hollywood professionals are warning Congress about Netflix's planned acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery. And an anonymous letter from concerned feature film producers says the deal could hurt theaters, but Warner Brothers films potentially playing just 2 weeks before they move to streaming. The group kept their identity secret, citing fear of retaliation from Netflix. Here locally, New Hartford police asking for help identifying those involved in a disorderly incident at Sangertown Square. And a local restaurant has closed its doors due to failure to pay state sales tax. That is Swifty's Restaurant and Pub on Genesee Street in Utica. The state claims that location and 2 others in upstate New York owe a total of $2.2 million The restaurant chain went on Facebook to say they are temporarily closed. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 6:48. A chilly start. Here's a look at your forecast.
Snow's done, but the bitter cold air now settling in for this time of year. Unusually cold. Sunny morning now. Many spots, believe it or not, single digits above and below zero. The North Country, the coldest readings. And we'll climb out of this with lots of sunshine, but not going to help much. About 25 wind chills below zero, especially early. 14 tonight, so better than some snow showers around tomorrow. Not really expecting accumulation mid-30s and some snow showers on Sunday with a high near 30. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stidgett, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Bill, we are 4 below in both Utica and Rome.
It's cold.
Clinton is 7 below. To our east, Herkimer is 3 below. A chilly start, and it's not even officially winter yet.
By the way, 100 years ago today, it was about 20 degrees at this time. We're much colder. The moon was 60% full. Today we have a full moon, and it is, with the snow out there blanketing the terrain, you can walk in the dark because it's not too dark out there today.
No, and as I came to the studio, the sun was just peeking up over the horizon. The moon was still big and bright.
It's big,
and it's a real rare combo where you've got dawn light and moonlight.
Yeah,
at the same moment.
And with that snow, everything reflects off the snow. Let me bring in Willie Waffle right now. And Willie, good morning.
Good morning. It's cold.
It's terrible.
Really cold.
Willie, for those that might not know, is down in the Binghamton region, and I don't know. We were 6 below a few minutes ago. It's now 4. I think 4 below right now. So 5 below.
God.
Yeah, cold.
I think it's 7 here. So at least it's a little warmer, but not much.
But not much.
Once you get down to that level, really, how much difference is there between few degrees?
You're right. Although I got to tell you, my car is parked in a garage, so I don't, I get shocked when I get out of the car to come in. And this morning, stepping out of the car and taking my first breath, it kind of takes your breath away. You choke a little bit because it's cold.
It does.
Very cold. All right, what do we have? What do we have to look at? And as you know, you may have heard, we're celebrating 100 years today, and it's amazing the change. 100 years ago, this radio station signed on the air. So it's amazing how the world has changed and how the world of entertainment has changed in 100 years. It's pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, congratulations on a 100-year anniversary. That's an amazing accomplishment. I mean, yeah, the entertainment landscape has changed dramatically. I mean, while we still have radio, since then you've had television's been introduced. Movies were still a thing in the 20s, obviously, but that business has changed.
Yeah,
it used to be that all the studios owned the movie theaters.
The theaters, yeah.
And that got broken up, and so that was one of the big changes. And obviously streaming is changing everything. And you heard Jeff mention in the news report that one of the biggest controversies right now out in Hollywood is that Warner Brothers, the studio, is being sold. The company Warner Brothers Discovery is selling off the TV and movie studio, and that includes things like HBO Max, all the movies that they produce, and Netflix this morning entered into an exclusive negotiating agreement. So now it looks like they have the inside track, and there's all sorts of people trying to oppose it. As you heard, there are a lot of the unions in Hollywood are going to try to oppose it. Skydance Paramount has already started screaming that this whole deal was rigged, that the bidding process was rigged, that they actually have a better deal in their mind. Skydance Paramount actually offered to buy the whole company, not just the TV studio, not just the movie studio, not just the streaming. So this is going to be a big, big battle, and I think it really does have a lot of impact on the future of entertainment. I think, because as you heard in the report, Netflix tends to like to put things in movie theaters for a short time as a promotional window, and then have people watch it on Netflix where they're paying for that right. Now, this was a big battle over the last few weeks. Just to give you a little bit of insight of what's going on. So the new movie Dead Man, Wake Up Dead Man, the new Knives Out 3 sequel that's going to be on Netflix next week, was actually put into theaters during the Thanksgiving weekend.
Wow, so they're not lasting that long in theaters.
No, they're not. And what ended up happening was a lot of the big movie chains refused to carry it. So like AMC didn't carry it, Regal didn't carry it, because they said, listen, we're not just going to put a movie in there for a couple of weeks so you can promote the movie, and we're not going to make a lot of money. We think that, people are just going to turn around and wait and watch it on streaming because they're already paying for that subscription price. So not a lot of people went to see the movie in the theaters. And so, that those kind of battles are going to be growing as people go, listen, we might rent your Warner Brothers movie, but we want to guarantee that we're going to be able to show it in our theaters for 8 weeks, and you're not going to put it on streaming.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Willie, something you just said, and it probably already exists, but I would consider paying for. What if the movie theaters had a subscription plan? Do some of them? You pay a monthly fee, and every Friday and Saturday night you get to come and watch whatever it doesn't necessarily have to be a new movie, but you still get that theater experience with a popcorn and a drink and all that.
Yeah, no, that happens. Like, I know for a fact AMC does that. AMC has a program where you can pay a monthly fee and you get all the tickets you want.
Wow.
And you can just, you just go on and you get every ticket you want. There are some limitations, like there's some special shows you can't get tickets to, things like that. But, it's a pretty good program.
That is telling you how the demand has dropped. If they're willing to do that, holy moly. Yes. Have you seen Age of Disclosure? Did I ask you about this last week? I can't remember.
Yeah, we talked a lot about it last week. I didn't get a chance to get caught up on it. But listen, I think all three of us have kind of been watching this throughout our lives,
right?
And have been looking at all the things that have been developing and all the statements that are being made, and the frankness is what's really shocking in the movie.
Very creative editing, the way they're doing it. Marco Rubio was talking about it, how his interview was done like 4 years ago. And they'll edit it in a way where it seems almost as he's affirming that they're walking amongst us, when that's not really true. However, he said, I don't know that there's anything in the movie that's untrue. I thought that was
right.
And another comment he made, I thought it was really interesting. He said, okay, here are the scenarios. He was on Hannity the other night. Here are the scenarios. Number one, these military people are nutso. Number two, they're lying. Number three, they're telling the truth. And he said, all three scenarios are scary. And isn't that the truth, right? So
very true.
All right, in theaters, what do you have 5 Nights at Freddy's in theaters, right?
Part 2. This is a sequel. Yes, get excited. And, funny enough, a movie that disproves some of the worries about Netflix. 5 Nights at Freddy's, when it came out a couple years ago, was available on streaming and in theaters at the same time, and made tons and tons and tons of money.
Okay.
So go figure how that happens. But that is not a reflection on the fact that you're going to be excited for the sequel. Oh no, you're not. Trust me. Okay,
bad.
I could tell you the plot, but, I don't want to put you through that pain. You have more important things to focus your memory and your brain power on today. Here's the deal. This movie is just all set up so that you will see big animatronic Chuck E. Cheese ripoff characters murdering other characters in the movie. Because the whole idea is that, it's this old kind of Chuck E. Cheese, like I said, Chuck E. Cheese ripoff, Fazbear Freddy's, where the animatronics would sing songs and dance around. Well, it turns out they're evil. They're possessed by evil, and they kill people. And in the first movie, we got a whole big story about the background, about how it happened, and blah, 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 blah. Now, here in the second movie, all the characters are back because the one little girl who wasn't told the truth about the animatronics is missing them and wants to go see them. And, of course, this is just setting up every character, every story, every plot in this movie is just introduced as an excuse to get you in front of the animatronic characters that will then murder you. That's the whole movie. There's nothing else to it. Half a waffle.
Oh, that bad. And by the way, I'm in about 2 minutes. By the way, Stranger Things is going to play in theaters, right? The finale?
Yes, the Stranger Things the finale is gonna play in theaters. Now this is the really cool twist on it though. You're not buying a ticket to see the finale of Stranger Things. And this is why the movie theaters went along with it. You're buying a $20 concession voucher.
Wow.
And you get a reserved seat along with it.
That is
those
wild.
seats went fast, man.
Yep,
But
yep.
again, it's going to premiere on Netflix on New Year's Eve at 8 o'clock, and that's when the shows are going to start. So if you go to the theater, you'll get the show will be 8 o'clock, and then they're going to have some shows throughout the night, and then some on January 1st. But the theater owners went, well, if we get to keep all the money, we're all for it.
Well, listen, maybe that's the answer. The money's going to be in the concessions. By the way, Stranger Things debut broke the internet. It actually shut down Netflix when it launched. That was crazy.
Yes, it did. It was so big, and it just shows you how massive it is. And Stranger Things season 5 was actually the second highest Netflix series premiere in all of history, behind Squid Game 2.
All right, less than a minute. Jay Kelly, Netflix, Oh What Fun, Amazon Prime. On these two, what do you think?
Jay Kelly on Netflix is the one you want to see. Okay. This is George Clooney basically playing a George Clooney character, and his manager is Adam Sandler. And Adam Sandler steals the movie because you see the relationships that George Clooney has with the people in his life, and they're not good relationships. That's a 3.5 waffle movie. Oh, What Fun with Michelle Pfeiffer, Amazon Prime movie, desperately trying to be a funny Christmas holiday classic, and misses the mark almost every time. Right. I'm at 1.5 waffles for Oh, What Fun.
All right, Willie, listen, stay warm down there, for God's sakes. Thank you. As always, we'll talk to you next week. Thanks.
Talk to you next week.
All right, we have a lot more here on our 100th anniversary coming up next hour.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome.
W295EI.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Celebrating 100 years.
A suspected bomber faces the judge. I'm Kathleen Maloney, Fox News. A Virginia man accused of putting 2 pipe bombs outside both Republican and Democratic National Committee headquarters almost 5 years ago is expected in court this afternoon.
The suspect, 30-year-old Brian Cole Jr., is facing 2 federal charges: transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce and attempted malicious destruction by means of fire and explosive materials. Investigators say it was a new look at old information in the original file that broke the case. Authorities spent the majority of Thursday outside Cole's home in a Washington suburb. According to court documents, cell phone pings indicate Cole's cell phone was in the area of the RNC and DNC the night of the crime, the night before the U.S. Capitol riot. But investigators have not publicly shared why Cole allegedly targeted the DNC and RNC headquarters.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. The Trump administration targets another boat in international waters.
The U.S. military says it conducted another lethal kinetic strike on a boat operated by a designated terrorist organization, this time killing 4 men. U.S. Southern Command posted on X that intelligence confirmed the vessel was carrying illicit narcotics and transiting along a known narco-trafficking route in the Eastern Pacific. This marks the 22nd strike on suspected drug smuggling boats in the Caribbean and Pacific, bringing the total killed to 86. Carmen Roberts, Fox News.
The Mercury taking a deep dive in the mid-Atlantic with temperatures in the teens in parts of New York and Philadelphia, where this girl is dressed for the cold plunge.
Sweatpants, 2 pairs of pants, and 2 socks on, and Uggs on.
Sounds like a good wardrobe for the weather. Many other parts of the country are seeing snow on top of the cold. America's listening to Fox News.
This holiday season, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation is delivering dozens of mortgage-free homes to deserving recipients during its annual Season of Hope. Tunnel to Towers welcomed U.S. Army Captain David Christopher into his mortgage-free smart home during a prior Season of Hope. David sustained catastrophic injuries in the line of duty. During this Season of Hope, let's make a difference in the lives of those who have sacrificed so much for our safety and freedom. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org.
So Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $29.95 a month for life. Not your phone's life, your life. This top-tier plan is normally $65 a month, but if you switch today, you'll save over 50% every month for the rest of your life. You might say it's the deal of your lifetime. Just dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. Offer expires 12/7. Some restrictions apply. Details at puretalk.com.
President Trump calling on administration officials to reevaluate non-citizen migrants who entered the country under President Biden. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem tells Fox's The Ingram Angle the Somali community in Minnesota will be carefully vetted.
We're seeing almost 50% fraud in their visa applications, which means they came into this country on false pretenses, false applications. They maybe married somebody that was their brother that they wanted to get into this country. And we're going back and looking at all those. We're looking at every single visa, every single asylum claim.
The administration also launching an immigration crackdown in New Orleans, targeting as many as 5,000 migrants who officials claim have violent criminal records. The push to end the war in Ukraine apparently stalled. Russian President Putin says some proposals in the U.S. peace plan are unacceptable. He's looking for territorial concessions, which Ukraine objects to. Meanwhile, Russian attacks on Ukrainian cities continue to cause casualties and damage. President Trump wants to make it easier for foreign visitors to attend next year's World Cup in the U.S.
FIFA, the governing body for international soccer, is expected to honor President Trump today at the World Cup draw at the Kennedy Center. World leaders and soccer royalty are attending the event that sets up each pool national teams will play in next year.
We have sold more tickets than any country anywhere in the world at this stage of the game.
President Trump says those attending games, as well as the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles, will get priority visa application processing at U.S. embassies and consulates. At the same time, the administration is tightening travel restrictions from several countries, including some qualified for the World Cup. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
You can watch the World Cup draw at noon Eastern on Fox Television. I'm Kathleen Maloney. This is Fox News.
Mostly cloudy skies and a chilly start. We are at 3 below in Utica and Rome, 3 below in Herkimer, and Oriskany is at 5 below this morning. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time 7:05. This news update is brought to you by the Stanley Center for the Arts. New Hartford Police asking for your help identifying those involved in a disorderly incident at Sangertown Mall. New Hartford Police, in conjunction with Mall Security and the Pyramid Corporation, requesting help identifying several individuals captured on mall surveillance camera systems. They were part of a disorderly group, and the incident happened on November 29th at the Fun Nation, an establishment located inside the mall. Police are trying to identify all of those captured on camera. They say calls can be kept confidential. You can contact New Hartford Police at 315-724-7111. WKTV reporting that a request to have the Caitlin Connolly case heard earlier has been denied. The appellate division set a court date for hearing arguments in April. Oneida County District Attorney Todd Carville had requested that it be moved up because the grand jury had already heard evidence, and it will disband in January. Because the request was denied, if the court rules in Carville's favor in April, the evidence will need to be presented again. Connolly was convicted in the death of local chiropractor Mary Yoder, but it was thrown out due to mishandled evidence. Swifty's Restaurant and Pub on Genesee Street in Utica has closed its doors after New York State officials say the business and 2 other upstate New York locations were seized. That's according to the State Department of Taxation. The issue, they say, is failure to pay some $2.2 million in back taxes. A bright yellow sign on the business door at 257 Genesee Street says the property has been seized for non-payment of taxes and is now possession of New York State. The official state sign says any person who attempts to tamper or interfere with the property will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Meanwhile, on its Facebook page, Swifty says the closure is just temporary. And we are feeling it this morning. Folks will definitely want to bundle up before heading out today. Overnight temperatures drop to single digits and below zero. Today's high is expected to be at 25 degrees. Right now, we are at 3 below in Utica, Rome, and Herkimer, 5 below in Oriskany. Wear layers today, folks. Here's a look at your Weather Center forecast from the Weather Channel.
Snow's done, but the bitter cold air now settling in for this time of year, unusually cold. Starting in the morning now. Many spots, believe it or not, single digits above and below zero. The North Country, the coldest readings. And we'll climb out of this with lots of sunshine, but not going to help much. About 25 wind chills below zero, especially early. 14 tonight, so better than some snow showers around tomorrow. Not really expecting accumulation mid-30s and some snow showers on Sunday with a high near 30. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stidger, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 7:08. All right, from the IBEW 43 local sports desk. Big news at the International Boxing Hall of Fame and Museum in Canastota. The 2026 inductees have been announced. Among them is Triple G, Gennady Golovkin, Antonio Tarver, and Nigel Benn, and they will be inducted at a big ceremony coming up in June. The weekend will feature the events at the Hall of Fame and Museum in Canastota and at the Turning Stone Resort and Casino, ringside talks, a 5K race, and an induction ceremony as well. Thursday night football last night on WIBX, kicking off Week 14. The Lions throttled the Cowboys 44-30. A pair of touchdowns for Jahmyr Gibbs and one for David Montgomery as well. The Cowboys were able to pull within a field goal about halfway through the fourth, but the Lions then extended their lead from there. A top player on the Eagles defense will miss a Monday Night Football showdown against the Chargers. ESPN says Jalen Carter underwent a procedure on Monday to address injuries to both of his shoulders. He's considered week to week going forward. LeBron James' record double-digit scoring streak is over. James scored 8 points in last night's contest, a 123-120 victory for the Lakers over the Toronto Raptors. He also assisted on the game-winning buzzer beater from Rui Hachimura. Hachimura, that is. James finished with 8 points, 11 assists, and 6 rebounds, ending his streak of 1,297 consecutive games, scoring in double figures. Coming up this weekend for the New York Giants, they have a bye. The Jets will host the Dolphins on Sunday afternoon at MetLife Stadium. The Knicks at the Hardwood tonight. They'll take a crack at the Utah Jazz at home. The Utica Comets play at the Adirondack Bank Center tonight as Bridgeport comes to town. And then, of course, Bill, tomorrow night is the big Utica Pioneers New York Sash Teddy Bear Toss game at the Adirondack Bank Center as the 14th-ranked Pioneers host number 4 in the nation, Oswego State. Should be a great game. And obviously, it's a huge night as all of the Teddy Bears collected benefit local charities and local families this Christmas season.
No Syracuse until Thursday of next week, and the Bills play the Cincinnati Bungles this week.
The Bungles.
Oh, I skipped the Bills. I'm sorry about that. Well, they have Burrow back, so be careful.
It's a tough game. To be honest with you, they have a tough schedule going forward, although they have the Jets. But you never know, right? You just never know who's going to show up.
Any given Sunday or Monday or Thursday.
Mike, this morning, I loved the first word that came to Christine Bellino's out of her mouth when she found out you were coming to WIBX. She said, terrifying. I do remember she did say that.
She's coming up.
We're going to speak with Christine coming up in a bit. Of course, Christine and I became very close friends through all of this. Ed was offered to be paid, but initially refused. Today, the people on the radio want to get paid, but the radio stations refuse.
I was going to say corporate wants to bring it back.
Isn't that funny?
Well, I'll tell you the rest of the story. After I was here a year, Tom Yurchak called me into the office, and he says, Ed, we have to pay you. So it's a true story. Tom will tell you. So I says, well, all right, what do you want to give me? So he says, all right, we'll pay you $30 a show. And I said, okay. And I never asked for another dime in 32 years.
So you're still getting the $30.
When you left, I remember. I know this. When you left, you were getting $30 a show.
Wow.
Yeah. And I never. I always felt I was privileged to be here. I'm not a professional broadcaster.
You are though.
And
at the time, maybe you weren't, but you became one.
Well, and you guys have, like I said, people make their living here. This is a tough business.
Well, let's not push it. People make a living here. I mean, we're here.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It's
You're eking out. It's
That's
like
right.
a dirt farmer that's just trying to grow some corn, right?
It's all
We'll
the
get Farmer
part of
Ben
the.
here.
It's all the part of the big recipe. We'll speak with Christine Bellino coming up in a second this hour. Jerry Reed, who was a former farm host in the morning. That was a big part of WIBX, and it still is really today. We'll do Hobica's free money question of the day. Davey, today, it's worth how much money?
Let's break the bank. Come on, 100 grand, 100 years.
$500.
Oh, it's a $500 day. And Hobica's going to love this one. From the Hobica Law Firm, your chance at $500 this morning on our 100th anniversary. Randy Gorman is coming up a little late. He was a former news director here. He went on to work at WBZ in Boston, at Wham and Rochester, one of the legends of radio news, and a former GM of Forever Broadcasting, which owned WIBX. Tom Yurchek is coming up as well this hour. And we'll speak with Karen Carey, Jim Rondinelli, and just a whole bunch, even Mary Jo Beach today. Brad Davies, Brent Axe, big part of Sports Watch. It'll be very interesting to have Brad on with Brent and me. What's interesting about it, and of course, the two of you both involved in Sports Watch, but for those three, me and those two, Brad started with me when he was an intern. Brent and became the sidekick, went on to do his own thing. Brent started in the very same way with Brad and went on to do his own thing. And just shows you the progression of people, how they get started in radio and end up blossoming and doing big things. At least that's the way it's always been. And you have one more quickie you want to hit us with here.
Yeah, so around 1994,
all right,
they decided to change up some of the broadcasting. So I get a call one day and they bring me in and we said, Ed, we want to add some more shows to Friday afternoons.
Yeah.
So believe it or not, Joe Kelly had a show here for a short time on Friday afternoons, and they brought me in, and they squeezed us like between 4 and 6.
Right.
Now that was in the days we had a news staff here. So John Swan's here, John Stevens here, Ken Finelli. These guys were, we have regular news going on. So of course, all of the news stuff took up so much of the hour.
Right.
So it's
right.
like
you don't have a lot of time.
You don't have a lot of time, and So then the O.J. Simpson thing started, and of course we had to go to live CBS cut whenever they were doing something.
Yeah,
with
that
O.J.
had to be 95.
It was.
Yeah.
So it turned out, and the trial was going on, all the other stuff.
Yeah.
So it turned out every Friday I've got like 15 minutes because between the news, OJ, and because you had the CBS news, and you had the local news, and you had the local news and the weather at the bottom of the hour, and blah 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 blah, and then next thing you know, you got OJ Simpson, right? So one day I was kind of like slightly perturbed, and I'm like, God, I'm prepared for
what
my
am
show.
I doing here?
Yeah. So I said, this is the news hour, and so I had to do the top of the hour, basically station ID. So I again, the whole staff is there, and I just said, you're listening to Auto Talk on the O.J. Simpson radio network.
Yeah.
And John Swan, I remember him looking through the window in the newsroom, and he was like, what did he just say?
Yeah.
And he comes running in, and of course, John's a real serious guy.
I can see his
good
look.
friend.
Yeah.
And make a long story short, I said to Yurchak, I said, this isn't probably a good place for my show.
Yeah.
And of course, when Joe left, they still wanted to have a public affairs show, and that's when Ralph Yennis.
Ralph did a show here as well. Yeah.
Correct, and I helped talk Ralph into doing this.
Yeah.
And then we all moved to Saturday morning,
which is where it really fit.
Exactly. So you had Linda Robbins, you had myself,
Yeah.
you had Ralph, and then when Ralph got out of the radio, because that's the precursor to what Ray Durso does today. That's when they started the rotating hosts.
Got it.
And so you had Griffo up here, or you had
I remember that.
It
you
was
had
Speak
Rowan.
Out.
That was Speak Out.
Yeah, right.
Speak Out.
Yeah, that's where I came aboard.
I would propose that we do a retro replay of Auto Talk, and you come in and do a special sometime.
I would love to do that.
That would be really cool.
I would love to do that. Davey, you still have my opener, right?
I have everything.
And Davey,
okay, Davey's got everything. He's on my
You would run the board and do the whole. All right.
I would do that anytime. Let's plan on that.
Let's plan for it. So Ed Welch, thank you, and happy anniversary to you.
Thank you, guys, and I will see you all very soon.
Before we let you go, Lance and Lee says, and I agree with him, you've got too much hair to be a radio guy.
Boy,
Look at that full head of hair.
Boy, is that the truth. All right, good stuff. Quick break. Stand by. We'll speak with Christine Bellino coming right up at WIBX.
Stand Up to Cancer asked leading cancer researchers to speak about why they do their work.
Two words come to mind for me. One is responsibility, the other is purpose.
It's just so inspiring to do research that impacts human lives.
Stand Up to Cancer has been a critical partner in advancing research for cancer.
Cancer research saves lives.
So please, help us fight in this battle against cancer.
Be a part of the team that ends cancer at standuptocancer.org.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Are your windows old and tired? Hard to put up and down? Builder's grade windows just aren't made to last very long. Patriot Home Solutions is a different kind of window company. No games or gimmicks, no long drawn-out sales presentations, just high-quality, custom-fit windows at reasonable prices made right here in New York. And right now, you can get up to $2,000 off new windows from Patriot and NYSERDA. Plus, get an upgrade to triple pane windows for free. Minimum 3-window purchase. Most homeowners qualify for the savings, and income is not one of the requirements. So write this number down, 315-401-0440. That's 401-0440. Patriot Home Solutions will tell you right over the phone if you qualify. Don't miss your chance to save up to $2,000 and get the triple pane upgrade free. Funds are limited, so call before they run out. Learn more at callpatriothomesolutions.com. That's callpatriothomesolutions.com.
Start your collectible coin journey today with the first ever Seuss coin. Hip, hip, hooray! The Grinch is here for all to see. DrSeussCoins.com kicks off your collecting spree. Now, for the first time ever, Rare Collectibles TV has licensed Dr. Seuss's beloved creations, making them come to life on collectible, adorable coins. Don't wait, or you'll be too late. Get yours today before they're gone forever. Only 5,000 examples have been minted. Each Grinch coin is made from 1 ounce of pure .999 fine silver and is in perfect condition. Give the gift of wonder and enchantment to your kids or your grandkids. Just go to DrSeussCoins.com to start this whimsical coin journey today with the limited edition Silver Grinch coin. That's DrSeussCoins.com, DrSeussCoins.com.
Mark Twain Tonight. Emmy Award-winning actor Richard Thomas brings to life the nation's one true comic genius.
It's a comical invention, the human race, any way you look at it.
Join the millions who have cheered for the legendary one-man show by Hal Holbrook. Don't miss Mark Twain Tonight.
Out of all the things I've lost, I miss my mind the most.
Mark Twain Tonight, presented by Broadway Utica at the Stanley Theater, January 13th at 7 p.m. BroadwayUtica.org for tickets.
AmeriQ Credit Union is more than just a place to bank. It's a place where you belong, a place where meaningful connections are made, with the right financial solutions to help you live your best life, with the people who can help you get there, and the perfect blend of technology to stay connected wherever you are. For 75 years, we've been proud to serve our local communities on the founding principle of people helping people. Join today at americu.org/belong. Americu and you. Let's connect. Membership eligibility required. Insured by NCUA.
Hi everyone, it's Lisa from Fit Body Boot Camp in Whitesboro and Clinton. The holidays can bring joy, but also stress, pressure, and a lot of overwhelm. That's why your 30 minutes with us matter. At Fit Body Boot Camp, you get a moment to breathe, a moment to focus on you, a space where no one judges and everyone supports. Every workout is filled with encouragement, positivity, and people who genuinely want to help you succeed. Come see why our members call this their favorite 30 minutes of their day. Happy holidays from Fit Body Boot Camp.
2-1. Hi, this is Brad Davies. I was sports director at WIBX from 1996 till 2000. Back then, the Buffalo Bills were breaking everybody's hearts. And all these years later, they still are. Anyway, congratulations to everyone at WIBX on their 100th anniversary.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
Hello and happy 100th anniversary to WIBX, a station that meant a lot to me growing up as a kid in New Hartford. Hey, this is Scott Carr. I went from being a 16-year-old unpaid intern at WIBX to become programming and news director of the station by the year 2000. I got to organize the 75th anniversary of the station and left in 2003. WIBX is one of the few true legacy full-service radio stations in all of the U.S., and I'm super proud to be a small part of that history. Special shout-out to Bill Keeler, my old partner in crime at the old Rock 107. And to you too, Davey. Thanks, Bill, for helping continue WIBX's legacy as a radio station serving the Utica-Rome community. And since it falls in December, I get to say, Happy Holidays, everybody.
Well, we've been talking about this forever, haven't we? And now I just want to warn you that once it starts, it's probably going to be talked about for quite some time. The celebration will continue on into next year. It was on this date in 1925 that WIBX signed on the air. And we have some great audio to play through all of this and great people to talk to. And let me go to one of those great people right now. She's working far from here these days in radio. One of the, I do remember driving down the road, and this is before I was working at IBX, and, you know, I'm very judgmental in this business. And hearing Christine Bellino's news report, like, wow, where did they get her? She is so good. She sounds network. And sure she did, and was also a wonderful person. She's on the line right now. Christine Bellino, good morning.
Good morning. You are way too kind. I am very humbled. But before we get to all that, I heard Ed say that you guys are paying more than $30 a show right now. I might come back.
I gotta tell you, I was thinking about it when I started right around the same time. I was doing high school sports out of a radio station in Little Falls, and they were paying $15 to do a high school football game.
Wow.
Oh wait, if it was at the Dome for playoffs, we got 20. Yeah. And I think we were all paying that. It was terrible. So,
you know, the only good thing about not working at IBX is that now I am eligible to win Hobica's money.
You are. And today's a big one. Today's $500. So, yeah, Hobica's going to love that.
I have to say I miss WIBX. I've worked, all around the country, and I miss WIBX. It will always have a very special place in my heart. Bill, I echo what Scott said. You are an amazing person with whom to work with. Jeff, love you. Davey, love you. I miss Andrew. We had a very great team, and I know that you guys have a wonderful team now as well. But WIBX is such an important radio station, not only to the Utica-Rome community, but to the country, because it is one of the few legacy stations. And I don't think a lot of people understand how difficult it is for radio to survive, and there are only a handful of stations around the country that have lived as long as WIBX has.
Well, and AM radio to beat, right? And it's think of the number of AM radio stations that used to be active here in Utica and Syracuse. And, I had this is a crazy story, and maybe I'm speaking something I shouldn't be speaking about. But do you know that that today the studios at WGY are empty. That all of their programming comes out of Syracuse. Can you believe that?
I did not know that. No.
One of the greatest legacy radio stations in the entire country, greater than what we are talking on right now, is at a 50,000 watt radio station. Almost every bit of their programming comes out of Syracuse.
You know, it's amazing. You mentioned GY and the 50,000 watts, and we talked a little bit about radio signal earlier this week, but like if you were ever on a road trip to Florida and you lived in upstate New York, you could get GY. I mean, if you lived anywhere, but you could get GY at night in North Carolina, South Carolina, in the Virginias, all over the place. So that's amazing.
Well, and
a station
earlier
that
when
powerful with that reach.
We talked about this earlier when it really was a clear station, clear channel station. Not the company, but the actual description of what they were the only ones at 81, I believe, for quite a long time. You could hear them all over the country, let alone around the world. So, nonetheless, it shows you the struggle it is for this industry, Christine, as we are in the midst of yet another reinvention. And, you know, so far history has shown radio has miraculously survived these reinventions.
And it is miraculous. You look at WCBS, which began in 1924, I think, and you know they went dark. I actually cried when that happened. I'll probably go into a deep depression if that ever happens to IBX. But the truth is, I would do to this day anything for WIBX because it is so important to the community. And Bill, you really revived that station. I know you're going to talk to Karen Carey as well this morning, but I think that remember the day that we did the Don't Listen to WIBX Keeler in the Morning campaign. That was genius. And I think that WIBX represents the community like no other station for whom I've ever worked has. And I talk about WIBX all the time. I use it as an example. And I know this sounds like brown-nosing, but I have nothing to gain by saying this except to say, you know, that the station really is a treasure that everyone I know in the Utica-Rome community has. And I've met a couple of Utica people who have now moved down this way, two of whom are working for one of the health organizations down here. And we always talk about how that area has changed, but how the people there, you know, are unmatched anywhere else.
Well, that's awesome. And great words. And the fact that you do anything for IBX, we'll see you Monday. Well, it doesn't work out quite that way. But anyway, all right. Well, listen, Christine, we certainly cherish those days and miss you greatly. And glad to hear you're doing and your family doing incredibly well.
Thank you. Yes, my daughter graduates in May, so she's going to be headed to the Marine Corps.
She has one day we may see her running the whole thing. You never know. You never know.
She could not do worse than anything that's happening right now, and I'll just leave it at that.
All right. Boy, I wish you were back here. All right, Christine, thank you so much. Great hearing from you. Thank you so much.
Love you all. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. Christine Bellino. And I do mean that. And Jeff, you as well have an incredibly smooth, your delivery of news is just an incredibly smooth delivery that is network quality.
Thanks. You don't
and I do believe that the people of Utica should be thankful that the number of people that have come through here, and in some cases have stayed here and continue to be here, are some of the best talents that you'll find. Davey, no, you're the man. Some of the best talents you'll find anywhere in broadcasting. So. Great stuff. We have a ton to get to.
Do we have the cash register?
We're getting ready.
Cash register sound effect? Because as I always like to say, news tips taken here.
Well, let me.
I don't mean information. I mean cash. That's a joke. It's a joke.
$500 is Hobaika's number this morning. We're going to give somebody a chance to win that. We'll have that question coming up right after Manaski's News, which is coming up next to WIBX.
Hi, Hi everyone, it's Lisa from Fit Body Boot Camp in Whitesboro and Clinton. The holidays can bring joy, but also stress, pressure, and a lot of overwhelm. That's why your 30 minutes with us matter. At Fit Body Boot Camp, you get a moment to breathe, a moment to focus on you, a space where no one judges and everyone supports. Every workout is filled with encouragement, positivity, and people who genuinely want to help you succeed. Come see why our members call this their favorite 30 minutes of their day. Happy holidays from Fit Body Boot Camp.
The holiday sale is on. Save up to $1,350 at Mattress Express on New York State's largest selection from New York State's largest specialty bedding store chain, Mattress Express. Hurry in, go to mattressexpressny.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Hurt in a car? Call William Attar. 315-444-4444.
Clue, live on stage. The uproarious new play based on the hit movie and classic game. Murder and blackmail are on the menu when 6 mysterious guests assemble for a dinner party. Was it Mrs. Peacock in the study with the knife, or perhaps Colonel Mustard in the library with the wrench? This fast, furious, and funny whodunit will leave you dying of laughter. Clue, live on stage.
December 14th and 15th at the Stanley Theater. Visit BroadwayUtica.org today.
A very chilly start. We are at 3 below in both Utica and Rome, 3 below in Herkimer, and 5 below in Oriskany. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaske. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time is 7:35. New Hartford police asking for the public's help identifying those involved in a disorderly incident at Sangertown Square Mall. It happened on November 29th. There is video online. It occurred at the Fun Nation, an establishment located inside the Sangertown Mall. Police say all calls can be kept confidential. A request to have the Caitlin Connolly case heard earlier has been denied. The appellate division set a court date to hear arguments in April. Oneida County DA Todd Carville had requested it be moved up because the grand jury has already heard evidence, and it will disband in January. A federal appeals court is allowing the Trump administration to keep National Guard troops in Washington, D.C. The court lifted an injunction that had required the troops to leave by December 11th, though the ruling is temporary and doesn't address the merits of the case. Officials say they finally arrested the man accused of planting pipe bombs outside both major party headquarters just before the J6 riots. And Attorney General Pam Bondi says Brian Cole Jr. was taken into custody Thursday, and the investigation is ongoing. The Trump administration expanding its travel ban to include citizens from more than 30 countries. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said Thursday the extension comes after the original ban in June targeted 12 countries and restricted travel from 7 others. And a grand jury has declined to indict New York Attorney General Letitia James on mortgage fraud claims for the second time. Earlier charges had been thrown out just 10 days ago after James was previously indicted on 1 count of bank fraud and another of making false statements to a financial institution. James has denied any wrongdoing and has become a frequent political target of President Trump. WIBX 950 AM 92.3 FM news time coming up on 7:37. A chilly start. Here's what we can expect later today.
Snow's done, but the bitter cold air now settling in for this time of year. Unusually cold. Starting in the morning now. Many spots, believe it or not, single digits above and below zero. The North Country, the coldest readings
And we'll climb out of this with lots of sunshine, but not going to help much. About 25, wind chills below zero, especially early. 14 tonight, so better. Then some snow showers around tomorrow. Not really expecting accumulation mid-30s and some snow showers on Sunday with a high near 30. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stidging, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
It is 5 below in Oriskany, 3 below in Utica, Rome, and Herkimer. A chilly start to the day, Bill, but looking at about mid to hopefully upper 20s later today.
All right. A couple of comments here. Mike this morning. Well, it would have been good to Ed. It would have been good to Ed on during the OJ thing. He could talk about the gas mileage of the Ford Bronco. That is true. I'll never forget that. Happy birthday to all the WIBX. Wishing you many more. And in Rome. And Wayne loved Ed Welch's car show and miss him. And can you wish my Angeline a happy 38th birthday, please? I'm sorry, Wayne, we don't do birthdays anymore, so we can't wish Angeline a happy birthday.
But we want to.
We'd love to, especially here on her 38th, but I'm sorry, we can't do it.
Happy birthday, Ange.
The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic, and here on this date where we celebrate our 100th anniversary, are you ready? They are now, this is the very first time this is being announced, they are now accepting new patients. If you're looking to get into the Falcon Clinic, you're looking for a new family physician, or one of the other things, and many other things they do, is the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic. Now is the time. You can call them today and schedule an appointment. Dr. Cheryl Mattern, Mattern from Sequoit, is returning to the area and will be one of the physicians at the Falcon Clinic. Call today at 315-507-4751. It's the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. All right, Davey, you have done it. Obaika not pleased. Each day, if you were wondering, we pick a different monetary amount that is given away, and Davey is the one who gets to select the amount. Yesterday,
I teased it yesterday.
He was up there. Today, being the 100th anniversary, he has chosen $500.
And I consulted with a good friend of this show this morning to ask him if I should have done it, and he said, "Yeah,
he
go
said
for
yes.
it."
All right, $500 on the line right now. Let's take caller 100.
Oh, jeez. I'll be here all day.
I don't know. Let me get, we'll make it a tenth of that. Caller 10 with a chance at Obaika's free money at $500. I think it's a completely, absolutely, 100% doable. Let's give away the money question. And we'll do it next. 10th caller on the lines right now at 315-736-0186 at WIBX.
BME Company Business Machines and Equipment has been delivering office solutions for businesses in upstate New York for over 30 years. Their success comes from finding the right document management strategies and software solutions for streamlining workflows. Simply put, BME provides fast, reliable service at the best value to keep your business running smoothly. Through BME's strategic partnership with Hummel's Office Plus, they distribute supplies for just about every machine in your office at a great price. BME welcomes the opportunity to serve your business, selling, leasing, and service in Canon and Kyocera devices, as well as FP mailing solutions. An important part of BME's culture is supporting the communities they're fortunate to work in, and BME recognizes that support is one reason for their success. The future of business in BME's area is encouraging, and the company is grateful to be a part of that growth. Call BME Company at 315-574-8200 or visit BMEcompany.com. BME Company Office Solutions. Made simple.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio. WIBX.com/radio. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at LeafFilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
Clue, live on stage. The uproarious new play based on the hit movie and classic game. Murder and blackmail are on the menu when 6 mysterious guests assemble for a dinner party. Was it Mrs. Peacock in the study with the knife, or perhaps Colonel Mustard in the library with the wrench? This fast, furious, and funny whodunit will leave you dying of laughter. Clue, live on stage.
December 14th and 15th at the Stanley Theater. Visit BroadwayUtica.org today.
Welcome to the Potting Shed Antiques, the local business with the perfect gift for everyone on your list. Antiques make thoughtful gifts. Don Hartman invites you to shop local and save with 50% off the entire store, except for coins and gold jewelry. Gold jewelry is now 20% off. Stop in every Thursday through Saturday, starting Black Friday through Christmas Eve. Make holiday memories with Don and his staff at the Potting Shed Antiques, Oriskany Boulevard, Whitesboro, or online at thepottingshedantiques.com.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, Sweets Morning, we do Hobica's free money question of the day. And this morning, no exception. It's an opportunity for somebody to walk away with money. Usually we're looking at a couple $100 here and there. Today is a special day. It is obviously our anniversary day, which means Davey has chosen to up that a little bit. The number we're looking at here this morning is $100. I'm sorry, $500? It is $500. $500, your chance to win here this morning. And on the line right now is Nina in Utica. Hello, Nina. Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. It's great to hear from you. And you know you have a great opportunity here this morning to walk away with $500.
I hope so.
Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. All right, here's how it goes. You'll have 7 seconds to answer the question. And this is something that is actually listed on some of our message boards, the answer, along with this morning a big mistake was made on this anniversary day as we turned 100 years old. We opened up with a special open this morning, and in that open we made a huge historical error. In fact, the error is that something that was mentioned happened almost 15 years before WIBX even was on the air. All you have to do is tell me what was that historical moment, and if you know what it is, it's worth $500. You have 7 seconds from right now. Ready, go.
I have no idea.
You were not there this morning. Oh, boy.
I was on at 7:15.
Anybody want to take a stab at this one here this morning?
My suggestion is...
Because they're complaining about it on YouTube, and it's absolutely true.
What they hit is the base for a good salad. Did I mess that up? Iceberg lettuce?
Iceberg. It was mentioned this morning that WIBX covered many big stories over the years, including the sinking of the Titanic, which was 1912, I believe. WIBX went on the air in 1925. Listen, we'll give you the all-in-one food and fun card. It's a $25. I know it's not $500. It's a $25 gift card, and it's good at the Comets games, at Nexus, Taylor and the Cook, Aquavino, Babes, and the list goes on. Davey will hook you up. Okay, Nina?
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Stand by, and Davey will grab you. Maybe we'll take another shot at it in the 8 o'clock hour.
It was April 15th, 1912, by the way, and obviously many of the passengers died from the freezing water, and I wonder what that feels like compared to the air temperature outside, how long you could last in that water versus standing outside without the proper protection on.
It's cold out there. Right now in studio, I just want to welcome a couple of people, including Randy Gorman. Good morning.
Hey, Bill, good to see you.
It's great to see you. You are somebody I have looked up to for many years.
That's nice. Same, and you've been such an important part of the broadcasting landscape here in Utica. It's been an honor, and I know I've come on a few times about news stories when I was in Rochester. It's just great to be here on this really historic day.
It's historic for everyone who ever worked here. It's a big moment, played a role. And also, someone else I've looked up to over the years is Jerry Reed. Jerry, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. It's wonderful to be here, and it's been a long time, but it has been a long time.
It has been a long time.
100 years.
Yeah, think about it. And then if I can bring in one more here, and we'll all have a little discussion about radio in general and radio at WIBX. Former general manager at WIBX, Tom Yorchek, on the line. Good morning, Tom.
Hey, Bill. Good morning. Good morning, Jerry. Good morning, Randy.
Hey, Tom.
Good morning.
You're on with some good company here. Go ahead. And Tom, I want to thank you because we no longer have the size of a staff that we used to have. Some say we were employee heavy. We never said that. But here we are. And Tom, you really stepped up to help us in getting in touch with so many people. And Jerry, you did as well. And we really appreciate that because we couldn't have done this without you guys.
Oh, you're entirely welcome. Like I said, I owe Utica everything. So my success, Utica is still home for me and my family.
So I want to start with Randy and just talk about your time here, and then you went on to Boston.
Actually, not Boston. I heard you mention that before.
Was it not
Great
Boston?
Station. No, I was briefly at NBC Radio and then just around the state.
And, of course, WHAM in Rochester.
And WHAM in Rochester I was at for almost 30 years, and then I was in public broadcasting, WXXI most recently, and I retired this year, but still doing some freelance because I'm not good at retirement, basically.
What do you do? I find it, I go on vacation, and after a week, I'm like, I don't know what to do.
I got to have the phone in front of me because God knows something will happen, and I have to be there even though I'm not working full time.
Some of your favorite moments here, big things that happen.
I'm just thinking, actually, my two farm directors who I worked with, because I'd come in early in the morning, and just the routine was great. I came here in September of 1980. I was here two stints. That was my longer stint. Started with Tom Yorchek. And I remember a lot of big events, Tom. Tom, during those days, the farm show was not just about farm news. He used to play, Tom, I remember you had kind of a affection for Beatles music. He claimed a lot of the dairy farmers claimed the cows gave more milk when they heard.
Okay.
And then on a sad note, obviously a few months after I started, it was the death of John Lennon. And I remember we had, back in those days, we had the old teletype machines. They were going crazy when I came in to do the morning news at like 3:30, 4 in the morning. But, working with Tom, by the way, if anybody remembers the old show WKRP in Cincinnati, had won the, correct me if I'm wrong, it was the silver, was it the Cow Award? Because KRP had the Silver Sow Award, I think. Oh, there it is. Jerry, did you get one too?
I did.
Jerry won one as well.
I don't know what to say.
It's the Silver Cow.
I'm plussed or non-plussed or something.
That is awesome.
We have a kinship with Les Nessman.
And I can't top that.
How do you top that? I don't know.
I don't have anything that looks like that.
And Jerry, tell us about that award.
Well, it was from the Dairy Promotion Committee of the Oneida County, and they, recognize the effort that you did in helping promote dairying and the community, and. It was a prestigious award.
And reminds me of Fragile. It's Fragile. I'm pretty sure it's Fragile.
It's Italian.
It's Italian.
From Italy.
But actually, interestingly, and I know we can all talk about this, that WKRP program, you can, if you're not in radio, you can look at it and talk about how crazy that is. World isn't like that. Oh, yes.
Oh, it was on the money.
Right on the money.
Many ways.
Yeah, in so many different ways.
Well, an interesting historical tidbit, you may have mentioned this before, but when the station had moved from 1240 to 950, they had a big promotion here at WIBX, and they hired an airplane to drop parachutes throughout the city with coupons for free cases of Coke and Pepsi and all that stuff, way before WKRP ever thought of doing turkeys.
The turkey drop. Yeah.
I have the audio of that, as a matter of fact. The audio of the promo that occurred. And that was in 1948, I believe.
Yes.
So they had done the entire countdown. As I'm looking through my stuff, I might have to play it in a little while. But as we were, I say we, they at the time, we're going from a 500 watt radio station to 5,000 watts.
Mm-hmm.
We literally had that whole KRP promotion. I mean, that just, there are a lot of people that over the years in my career would say some of your antics would never fly on WIBX. And I look back at that and I'm like, they were way ahead of me. What a great bit. And Tom, that KRP thing, it did play, it played well, and it was pretty darn accurate. But it's so interesting that during that time, but even through the 50s, even through the 60s and 70s, radio was finding itself and not reinventing, but inventing the template. And the people in this room were, including yourself, Tom, were a part of that.
Yeah, we were. As a matter of fact, is Mark Warner going to be on at all?
I believe, but next week is what I'm told.
Yeah, I'm coming in next week as well.
Yes.
But, he really broke the trail, he and Bill Williamson, because we took the farm show and the talk shows on air. And we went to Washington a couple of times. I think Jerry went as well during his tenure. And then Mark Warner anchored blasts off of one of the shuttles from Florida, as well as we took the farm show a lot on the road. We did a lot of on-site remotes with the local farmers, the Humphrey Farms, really to begin with, and it was a great time.
Yeah. Jerry, do you have a certain memory that sticks in your mind?
Well, Todd brought up the idea of doing remote broadcasts from Washington, D.C. I mean, we took the whole station down there. I mean, you did Tom Coyne and Ken Moore,
John Ashwell.
and they did,
Yeah,
and
really,
John
sure.
Ashwell.
Mm-hmm.
We took the whole staff down there, and we brought in people from the different departments of the government, Department of Agriculture, and had these live broadcasts, which was monumental.
And it was a bigger challenge. I mean, now, everything is, IP computer based. Back then, you needed phone lines. You had to rent these things, dealing with phone companies, and the whole thing was a monumental task, really.
Right. And then we'd set up in the lobby of the Hilton Hotel and do these broadcasts for an entire day, which was monumental.
I used to actually love those. We went through a period where we used phone lines, and that's what you had. You literally had a point-to-point equalized phone line. And whether you're doing a football game or you're broadcasting from Washington, D.C. Then we went to this point where we discovered cellular, and everybody, to save money, it's like, well, we could just broadcast over a cell phone, and it was an awful time, and it made it much more difficult to do remote broadcasts. And now today, through my cell phone, I can connect to a digital platform on my computer and literally drive down the road and broadcast in digital quality. Randy, it's
technology.
Incredible.
If people say, what were the biggest things you saw in broadcasting, the technology, and obviously the internet is all part of that, but it just drove huge and very positive advancements for what we do.
It really did. Memories for you, Tom. Anything quickly before we break?
Yeah, just a couple of things. Speaking about technology, I wanted to get a tip of hat to Jim. I forget his last name now, who was our engineer during those years.
Jim Ashton.
Yeah, Jim Ashton, and he retired and bought the apple farm. And I remember there's a picture of me with one of the talk show hosts from the Ed Mauer farm down in Richfield Springs. So it must have been like 1980, and we had the newest technology. We had a Marty unit.
A Marty,
Marty's. And so where we were in Richfield Springs to get the signal back to Utica, Jim constructed this extremely high antenna. We had to have an antenna, but it was like 20 feet high, but we were able to do the farm show and then the talk show and everything else.
We actually took one of those Marty units, and I held the antenna, and I had an intern in the back of the van This was another radio station, but we held the antenna pointing towards Smith Hill. And,
That's right.
And we did a broadcast. The big thing was, you can't believe it, we're actually broadcasting while driving in the van. One other story, when I was working in Providence, they had this really cool van. We were out every morning there. We had a full-time road crew that went out on the streets every morning. And they had this powered unit where the antenna would go up on the van, and it would go like 30, 40 feet in the air.
Yeah.
And the driver of the van drove off with it in the air, hit an overpass, and destroyed everything. It's
Hey, I'm just going to throw
some memories.
I got a text from John Swan, my old colleague
Love
here.
John.
And John says, remind Tom that we broadcast the talk show from the opening of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which I don't remember.
That's
really
right.
cool.
Matter of fact, it was the 70th anniversary of WIBX. So I asked our owners, which I became part owner with Don Alexander, if we sold the ability, we turned around and did the opening of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Randy, Jay, John Swan, and myself.
Wow.
From Cleveland. And it was a monumental. That was one of the high points. Don Alexander said, if you can sell it, we did.
That's awesome.
And, yeah. Tell John, hey, John, hope to see you next week.
And John has played a big role as well in helping us get in touch with everybody and go through the history and the timeline. It is so important, I feel, to and I'm not sure we've done the greatest job of this, to compile all of this and to save it for historical purposes. 100 years is a big deal.
I'm going to give a plug to your website, WIBX950.com. I saw that video which Lou Burrell, who now passed, but was a big historian for radio, and that vintage stuff from the 40s, and Otis, who used to be on the Andy Griffith Show, all the stuff.
Incredible.
Yeah,
it really is.
People should watch that. Check it out.
Yes, go ahead, Tom.
One final thought from my end. Tim Roy, who has now hit the big time, he was my sports guy along with Randy Gorman doing the news. And Tim got back to me because I was teaching before I retired at the Ballas Aerial College of Communications at Penn State. And he told my class, yeah, Tom was different. Matter of fact, he took the show from low numbers, and by the time I ended, we had like a 30, 35-plus share in the morning.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. And had a young audience.
Yeah.
And had women,
And
really
all those things we're told you can't get in the morning on an AM news station, right? Tom, thank you. I can't wait to see you next week. We're looking forward to it.
Hey, Randy, are you going to be there in town next week?
I am going to be there, and if Tom's going to be there, I want you to bring the cow with the silver cow.
I'm going to ask everybody to stand by because I have a hard out that automatically takes it from me in 3, 2, and 1.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX Utica, Rome, W295EI, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, celebrating 100 years.
A blockbuster deal in the entertainment industry. I'm Kathleen Maloney. Fox News, a streaming giant, makes the winning bid for a major TV and film company that's home to the Harry Potter and Superman franchises.
Netflix has agreed to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery's television and film studios, as well as its streaming division, in a $72 billion deal. This breaking news right now has Netflix winning the bidding war.
That's Maria Bartiromo of the Fox Business Network. The deal requires regulatory approval. The Virginia man accused of placing 2 pipe bombs outside the headquarters of the Republican and Democratic National Committee headquarters nearly 5 years ago faces a judge this afternoon. The motive for Brian Cole's alleged actions still unknown. President Trump is planning a trip to Pennsylvania to promote his economic agenda ahead of the midterm elections.
The senior administration official says that the intent of going on this trip next week is to emphasize that this administration has not let up on the economy. So the president will be traveling on Tuesday to Pennsylvania to send that message to Americans face to face that he is really fighting this battle for them, and he wants to illustrate the tactics he's been using to do so. The White House does not want Americans to forget either the kind of economy that they inherited, emphasizing the inflation that rose and purchasing power that sank under the prior administration. But Democrats are seeing the slim wallets of Americans as a midterm selling point. Axios reporting that, quote, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer told top lawmakers this week to adopt a laser focus on the affordability crisis, his chosen attack plan for the 2026 midterms.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court allows the challenged congressional redistricting plan in Texas to be used in next year's election. The map is favorable to Republicans and pushed by the president. America is listening to Fox News.
This holiday season, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation is delivering dozens of mortgage-free homes to deserving recipients during its annual Season of Hope. Tunnel to Towers welcomed U.S. Army Captain David Christopher into his mortgage-free smart home during a prior Season of Hope. David sustained catastrophic injuries in the line of duty. During this Season of Hope, let's make a difference in the lives of those who have sacrificed so much for our safety and freedom. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org.
So Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $29.95 a month for life. Not your phone's life, your life. This top-tier plan is normally $65 a month, but if you switch today, you'll save over 50% every month for the rest of your life. You might say it's the deal of your lifetime. Just dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. Offer expires 12/7. Some restrictions apply. Details at puretalk.com.
The National Christmas tree in Washington, D.C. is now shining brightly for the holiday season.
After the First Lady did the honors of lighting the tree, President Trump telling folks, as a nation, we have much to be grateful for.
Most secure border we've ever had in the history of our country. 7 months, and nobody has come in illegally into our country. Nobody, not one.
Touting his administration's efforts to boost border security, reduce crime, and bring peace.
And we're making peace all over the world. We're settling wars at levels that nobody's ever seen before. 8 of them. We're looking for one more. That's Russia, Ukraine, if that's possible. And I think we'll get there eventually.
Other members of the administration at the event included Vice President J.D. Vance, Second Lady Usha Vance, and Attorney General Pam Bondi. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
Tech helps in the rescue of a dog in Southern California.
Sadie, a black Labrador retriever mix, was swept out to sea by a rip current near the home where her owners are staying in San Diego for a football game. And officials are crediting her Apple AirTag with helping her safe return. As her owners are tracking her down, narrowing her to the coast, surfers in Ocean Beach alerted lifeguards that a dog was struggling in the water after being swept out in the rip current near the jetty. They allocated 10 minutes to find the dog, and they were about to call the search off when they saw something in the water and realized it was her. Sadie later returned to her grateful owners. Sue Guzman, Fox News.
European Union regulators slapped fines on Elon Musk's social media platform X to the tune of 120 million euros. A 2-year investigation finding X fails to comply with the bloc's digital regulations. The investigation, conducted under the 27 nation bloc's Digital Services Act, which requires platforms to clean up harmful or illegal products on their sites. I'm Kathleen Maloney. This is Fox News.
We have mostly cloudy skies, 1 below in Utica, Rome, and Herkimer, 3 below in Oriskany. Good morning, I'm Jeff Manaski, WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 8:05. This news update is brought to you by the Stanley Center for the Arts. New Hartford police asking for your help identifying those involved in a disorderly incident at Sangertown Square just a week ago, I should say. New Hartford police, in conjunction with Mall Security and the Pyramid Corporation, requesting the public's help identifying those captured on mall surveillance who were involved in a disorderly incident that occurred at the Fun Nation. It happened on November 29th, an establishment located inside Sangertown Square Mall. Police are working to identify all of those involved. If you have information, you're asked to contact New Hartford Police. They say all calls can be kept confidential. A request to have the Caitlin Conley case heard earlier has been denied. WKTV reporting the appellate division set a court date to hear arguments in April. Oneida County DA Todd Carville had requested it be moved up because the grand jury that has already heard evidence will disband in January. Because the request was denied, if the court rules in Carville's favor in April, the evidence will need to be presented once again. Swifty's Restaurant and Pub on Genesee Street in downtown Utica has closed its doors after New York State officials say the business, along with 2 other locations in upstate New York, were seized. That's according to the New York State Department of Taxation, which says the issue is failure to pay some $2.2 million in back taxes. A bright yellow sign on the business door at 257 Genesee Street says the property has been seized for non-payment of taxes and is now in the possession of New York State. A message on the restaurant's Facebook page said the closure would be just temporary. Obviously, experiencing some bitter cold temperatures today makes you think of warmer weather and sunshine. Well, Bill, in just a couple of months, JetBlue will be relaunching flights from the Syracuse area to Florida. Starting in March, the airline is going to offer nonstop trips from Syracuse Hancock International Airport to Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport 5 times a week. The company already offers nonstop trips to Boston, New York City, and Orlando. You can find their full schedule at jetblue.com. A chilly start, Bill. 1 below in Utica, Rome, and Herkimer. 3 below in Oriskany. Here's a look at a better Weather Center forecast.
Snow's done, but the bitter cold air now settling in for this time of year. Unusually cold. Starting in the morning now. Many spots, believe it or not, single digits above and below zero. The North Country, the coldest readings. And we'll climb out of this with lots of sunshine, but not going to help much. About 25, wind chills below zero, especially early. 14 tonight, so better. Then some snow showers around tomorrow. Not really expecting accumulation mid-30s, and some snow showers on Sunday with a high near 30. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stidgick, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Again, 1 below in Utica and Rome, 3 below in Oriskany at 8:08. All right, in sports, big news for boxing fans as the International Boxing Hall of Fame and Museum announced its class of 2026. Among the big names, Triple G, Gennady Golovkin, Antonio Carver, and Nigel Benn will be inducted at the Hall of Fame and Museum in Canastota coming up next summer. The weekend will feature various events in Canastota and at the Turning Stone Resort and Casino, including the annual Ringside Talks, a 5K race, and the induction ceremony itself. Thursday Night Football, a game heard right here on WIBX. The Lions throttled the Cowboys 44-30 to kick off Week 14. Both teams, though, despite the victory for the Lions anyway, are on the outside looking in the playoff picture. And, of course, only the Dallas Cowboys could play 13 games and be 500 at the end of an odd number of games. A top player on the Eagles defense will miss a Monday Night Football showdown against the Chargers. Jalen Carter underwent a procedure on Monday to address injuries to both of his shoulders. He's now considered week to week. Giants have a bye this weekend. The Jets look to make it back-to-back victories again as they host the Dolphins coming up on Sunday afternoon. The Utica Comets return to the Adirondack Bank Center. They'll be home tonight, a 7 o'clock start, as they host Bridgeport. And, of course, a big night tomorrow at the Adirondack Bank Center. The Utica University Pioneers and New York Sash hosting the annual Teddy Bear Toss. It's a 7 o'clock start. Bring your teddy bears. When the Pioneers score their first goal of the night, you'll launch them onto the ice. And, of course, everything collected stays local and benefits Mohawk Valley families in need this holiday season.
Yeah. Lots to get to here this hour. A lot to squeeze in as we're speaking with several of those who have been here over the years and played a big role as we begin our 100th anniversary celebration. I have some very interesting, what I think is interesting audio to play coming up in a second. You be the judge. People of all ages can experience any level of discomfort in knees and hips and back, all stemming from your feet. The Good Feet Store is here. Arch support specialists. There's a free, no obligation, personalized fitting. You do not need an appointment in advance. You just walk in, and they'll go through the entire process with you. There's no obligation. And when it's over, you can opt in for a 3-step system, which includes strengtheners, maintainers, and relaxers. 3 categories of arch supports that help you fix the issue and ultimately push towards zero pain. That's the goal. Maintaining proper foot alignment by exercising and strengthening muscles, and you don't even realize you're doing it. It's the Good Feet Store, located at 4630 Commercial Drive in New Hartford. I want to go back to, it was December 5, 1925, 100 years ago, that this radio station signed on the air. So 100 years today. Pretty wild. But I'll take you back to some years later. I believe WKAL in Rome had just signed on the air a few years before. Prior to that, it was a 500-watt radio station in Utica, WIBX that really serviced the entire area, along with signals that came in from WSYR in Syracuse and WGY in Albany, but WIBX was it. And a very special day occurred in 1948 when we went from 500 watts, really servicing Utica, to 5,000 watts, where we are today, at 9:50, from 12:30 a.m. to 9:50 a.m.
I love there's almost a countdown, I think, without
It
a
is
countdown,
a countdown.
here. Get ready. We're about to make the switch.
So this is the
right now.
This is the moment they were switching everything over, switching from 12:30 a.m. to the new transmitter, which is really old today, to the new transmitter at 5,000 watts, which allowed us to broadcast to everywhere to the region from Canastota down to Schenectady. Is where our coverage area, so it would cover all of the Mohawk Valley. And this is the moment where they were counting it down, trying to train people to move their radios from 12:30 a.m.
Get ready.
To 9:50 a.m. Now, this will play for about a minute, and then 100 years later, through the magic of artificial intelligence, we will create that announcer's voice from 1948, as that announcer from 1948 helps us celebrate 100 years today. You'll hear the change. This is the audio.
And the punch when he says IBX.
Yes, changes are about to be made. The powerful new 5,000-watt transmitter, compactly housed in a modern new building on the Clarks Mill Whitesboro Road, is about to take over. 4 bright new towers behind the transmitter building reach 259 feet into the sky, ready to carry the inaugural program of WIBX with 5,000 watts of power. And on that new position, 950 on your radio dial. Our moments on the old power and frequency are fast disappearing. So come close to your radio. Put your hand on the dial knob as our chief engineer, Jack Dowdell, fingers the control switch. Get ready to make the move with us. Now, don't use a push button unless your push button for WIBX has already been changed. You must do the dialing yourself. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and ships at sea. From high atop the Mohawk Valley, this is WIBX, the voice of the Mohawk Valley, calling out across the airwaves as we have for 100 remarkable years. Yes, indeed, friends, it was a cold winter day, December the 5th, 1925, when WIBX first signed on the air. A tiny spark in the infancy of American broadcasting. And oh, what a century that spark would ignite. When history whispered, when history shouted, and when history roared. We stood vigilant through the dark storm of World War II, bringing news from far-off fronts to families waiting by their radios. We carried the shock and sorrow of our nation's tragedies, the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and Senator Robert Kennedy, moments when America held its breath and looked to voices like ours for truth. We were there when President Richard Nixon resigned his office, when the Challenger broke apart in the sky, and that terrible morning on September 11, 2001, WIBX once again became the Mohawk Valley's gathering place, a source for clarity in the chaos. But our story, dear listeners, is not only the nation's story, it's our story, Utica's story, Rome's story, and the Mohawk Valley's story. And along the way, WIBX became more than a station. It became a companion. And now, as we stand at the threshold of a brand new century of broadcasting, with digital signals streaming their waves and voices traveling farther than our founders ever dreamed, we pause to say thank you to our listeners, our community, and the generations who kept the WIBX flame burning bright. From 1925 to 2025, and boldly into the next 100 years. This is WIBX, your station, your stories, your voice. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. The next century begins now.
Celebrating 100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
It's pretty wild, right? What can be done today? Jerry Reed and Randy Gordman were talking about the moment that this is 1948, and I remember, and Karen will talk about this, when I came here, you were very nervous, Jeff, that I was going to just do all of the antics that would never be accepted on WIBX. However, back in 1948, this radio station actually did a promotion where they flew a helicopter over the entire region and dropped parachutes down with prizes, kind of like a WKRP moment.
Well, except it wasn't a live bird.
It is true. Maybe it could have been bad. But in 1948, this was the promotion way ahead of its time here on WIBX.
Your dial is set at 950. This is WIBX Utica. Watch the skies at 3 o'clock this afternoon until you see and hear the WIBX airplane piloted by Harry Show. It's part of the celebration of our new WIBX at 950 on your radio dial with 5,000 watts of power day and night. This airplane will drop parachutes over Utica, Rome, and the valley towns. And to these parachutes will be attached some tickets which would be good for $9.50. That's $9.50, plus some cases of Pepsi-Cola and Canada Dry Ginger Ale. Now, if you're lucky to get one of these parachutes, look at the ticket, and then bring it to the studios of WIBX First Bank Building and receive your prizes. Remember, watch the sky starting at 3 this afternoon for the WIBX airplane dropping parachutes with lots of gifts.
So I got to tell you,
is
is that not amazing? And here I am in, 1995, putting Bruce Springsteen tickets tied to like 20 helium balloons that we had blown up at the radio studio. It went up in the air with the tickets, and whoever got the balloon got the tickets. Turned out it was it went all the way to Vermont.
That's wild.
And the person in Vermont won the Springsteen tickets. So,
Vermont.
and I'm thinking
you rewarded somebody who's wasn't even a listener
in our listening area. And I'm thinking that we're doing something that is incredibly progressive, like nobody's ever done it before. And here in 1948, they beat us completely and kept the prizes within Utica, Rome, and the Mohawk Valley.
And I love he said Utica, Rome, and the valley towns. I've never heard it referred to it that way.
In studio right now, Jim Rondinelli. James, good morning.
Good morning.
And our former boss, Karen Carey. Good morning. Really tight on that.
Yep.
Was this studio completed when you were still here?
No.
Oh,
this is beautiful.
It is nice.
Yeah.
Just don't touch anything.
Okay.
Whatever you do,
I won't.
Don't touch anything. It'll trigger the next element. So 100 years, right?
I know. I think they should have dropped Utica Club.
Utica Club would have been
yeah. Well, I think with the lawsuits from the concussions, I think the station would have been out of business and we wouldn't have made 100 years.
Well, they could have done, instead of Canada Dry, they had certificates back then. So,
boom, right to the side of the head.
I listen, and Randy Gordman just in, and you worked with Randy in Rochester.
With him in Rochester.
Yeah. So for you, some of the memories, because you carried the torch for the last, and I believe Tracy will be in here in a second. Tracy Piseni.
And Mary Jo prior to me.
Mary Jo
she built a great foundation, such a great team.
She will be on the air at about 8:35 this morning. So pretty wild.
I've got the feels today listening to all these people, Ed and Christine and Randy.
And I have to thank, because without you, I never would have gotten hired here. So,
I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
Somebody who's very smart on this team now made the suggestion to me that I should sit down and meet with you.
Yeah.
And I believe we met at Daylight Donuts.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
And we ended up hiring you. And I remember getting a call from a very smart, reputable business owner in our area. And he said, "What the hell are you doing?"
What are you doing?
And then he turned into a great fan of the show.
Yes. Yeah. Well, there were many that at the time they canceled their advertising.
Yes.
Well,
when
I can
came
remember
here,
you brought me into your office and said, "We've hired Bill Keeler." And I was doing the morning news, and then and I was going to be moved, and it was the greatest day of my life because I had done mornings for like 20 years.
Yeah, you couldn't wait to get
and
done
I
with
couldn't
it.
wait to get done with that.
Yeah. In fact, the first thing Jim said to me was, "You don't understand. You do not. How much I love this.
No more getting up at 3 in the
hate
morning.
Getting up in the morning. You miss Karen. You miss a very important part of that meeting. It was me, you, and Tracy at Daylight Donuts, and we had sat, and Karen was asking questions because you've worked. You had just come from Rochester, where. You had Randy Gorman, but you also had a couple of other.
Yeah.
You had Weeze, who was easy to work with.
Weeze was great.
But there were others.
There was another guy who got into a lot of hot water.
Yeah.
Gave me a lot of gray hair early.
So she said to me, I've worked with a lot of morning radio hosts, and they tend to self-implode. What can you tell me that's going to assure me that you're not going to self-implode? And my answer was, I really can't give you anything there. Right? There's nothing. I can't promise you it's not going to happen because it's happened a few times in my career. So.
Well, I remember some funny stories that we can't get into on the air.
Yes, we've had a few. Yeah.
Just a few.
They were they were close to implosion moments.
Yes.
But somehow we got past that. I don't know how. So. But this is not about me, and it's about, and I am honored to be a part of this. And as I said to Jeff, having him back on our team. For this 100th is essential.
And Jeff, I have to say, Jeff has great programming ears.
He does.
And
Jimmy Fallon.
I spoke.
Jimmy wouldn't be here without Jeff.
The Fox representative told me that Jeff really was one of the first affiliates in the country that latched on to Jimmy and.
Yeah, I remember Jeff playing me the demo tape a couple of days before, and I said, "Boy, this sounds like this is going to be a great show." I said, "Go for it."
And I have to say as well,
which is why, by the way, he comes back. Yeah, and he will be back on February 7th at the Rome Capitol Theater. Tickets go on sale soon.
Well, I'll follow that up to say the last time Jimmy was in town in Rome, one of the questions that he got after his show was, "Why are you here?" And he said, he called me out by name, and he goes, "Where are you, you big bag of," and I can't say the word that he said after that. But I want to say, the Jimmy Fallon thing, I can't take all the credit for it because I had listened to several people, but then I had talked to you about what is your take on this? This guy's got more of a comedic lean into politics, and it's not a Rush Limbaugh show. And you had kind of made the point, and I don't remember the exact quote, but you don't want to. It's difficult. You're never going to fully replace Rush Limbaugh.
So
there's never another Rush Limbaugh, so don't try.
The person who is in to replace is the one who takes the bullet. It's the next person who comes in that actually will succeed. Unless you go with somebody who is completely different, because if we
charts his own course,
that's exactly right, and that's why I really feel that Jimmy was. But I give all the credit to you on that, because it was your decision, but it was the right move to try to replace him with a wannabe Rush Limbaugh would never have worked. Right. And look at where he is today, and he fills up. We'll have a full house at the Rome Capitol coming up on the 7th, and he's on every day at noon here.
And then one more point I got to make about Jim, because I've used this line in my life probably 100 times since I heard you say it. But for a while there, in my younger days, Jim and I were the morning show here. Yes. And there were several people who were in, and I think we had a guy who was a snowbird, so I would fill in when he went south for the winter, and then in the spring he would come back up. Anyway, the point being, Jim, you would be here at 3 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. And Jim always used to say how difficult it was to get up, and you just obviously mentioned how you were relieved to move to afternoons. But Jim used to say 2 o'clock in the morning is very late at night.
2 o'clock in the morning is not. 2 o'clock in the morning is not early in the morning. It's the middle of the bleeping night.
The middle of the bleeping night. So he would say 2 o'clock is late at night, and 4 o'clock is late in the morning, and 3 o'clock is the middle of the bleeping night. And it really is to get up at that time. But, Jim, you did it for so long. It's so good to see you again. Hearing your voice again is like giving me all these memories. So I'm glad we've got some members of the team back in studio here this morning.
I want to bring on Andrew Dominio, who's on the line right now. Andrew, good morning.
Speaking of one of Karen's regrettable hires, wow, good morning.
I don't think by any means that is
No,
that
I'm
was
kidding.
one of her great hires, and of course, you know, she had me pushing on that one. But once they met you, they were like, and that's the problem is once they met Andrew, all of a sudden, you know. Andrew likes to be a part of a lot of stuff. All of a sudden, I'm hearing him on OUR. He's down on the Frog. They're calling him like Andy Cash or something on the Frog. I'm like, hey,
my gosh.
who brought
Those
you
days.
here? You're with us, man.
You mentioned maybe I had an eye for picking out talent or seeing people who had a lot of potential. And I'll never forget, we had 3, 4, 8 different. Bill had to have his own producer when you came here, and that was an issue because it was like, well, it's not in the budget right now. Can we wait till next year? And Bill insisted on having his own producer for the show. And we had tried out several people.
Yes.
And I remember
Justin was here for a while, and he was awesome.
And I love Justin, but the day Andrew came in, the show ended, and I leaned over to Bill, and I go, we're keeping this guy, right? For sure. 'Cause
Yes.
Bill, Andrew, you fit right in.
Yeah.
You knew what needed to be done, and obviously we all got along great.
Well, especially because Mitch McConnell was so big at the time, and Andrew had a good Mitch McConnell. And we're like, I think he's a keeper.
Well, listen, my current Mitch McConnell doesn't really work for the radio because
No,
it's really just dead
it's
air.
silent,
It's just
yeah,
silent.
I'm afraid.
Yeah. No, but one thing is funny about that. I did go and explore different stations, but one thing that was always constant was being on the morning show at WIBX, which with you was always a great time, and whatever variation of it was. And I'm glad to hear Jeff back on the air. And unfortunately, regrettably, although I love you all, being that it's a balmy, brisk 67 degrees and sunny here this morning, I don't know that I'll be heading back there anytime.
Yeah, where are we at now? It's still 1 below right now here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not good. I didn't sign up for this weather. This is you're
always welcome to come down.
I may have to. I kind of enjoyed the 50s until like January 15th, and then it gets cold. We certainly had a few years of that. But all right, Andrew, good stuff, and we appreciate.
Well, yeah, I do want to just say congratulations to you because it is monumental that WIBX has been there 100 years, which is really impressive, and I was proud to be there for just a small portion of that. But I think the real accomplishment is this is your longest tenure at one station, and many people were betting against you. And
yeah, when we go to 2026, it'll be 14 years. I'll be on my 14th year here. What in the hell am I thinking?
I know. The money I lost.
Oh, madonna me, as the Italians would say. Okay, that's Angie's comment. All right, Andrew, thank you, man. Have
Be
a
well.
Have a
Love
great
you
day
all.
and enjoy the sunshine in sunny
I will
Florida.
indeed.
All right, I guess we're gonna do a little bit of a toast. Maybe we do that at the end. Brad Davies and Brent Axe both coming up in a little bit, which is really cool because they did the show together, and then Brent went on to do it when Brad went off to Rochester, and then down to who worked with you also, and went down to Houston. We'll do that also coming up in a few minutes. Tracy, we're going to get her in here. And Mary Jo Beach, former GM and sales manager here at IBX, will be coming up as well before we get out of here this morning. Beware, we'll be kind of celebrating this reunion for several weeks. 100 years is a big deal, right? Pretty crazy. Hard to believe we're here and still going. Still going. Quick break at WIBX.
It's open enrollment for Medicare Part D. Kinney Drugs offers a free online tool to compare plans based on your specific prescriptions. Or call 844-653-5063 to compare plans and enroll right over the phone.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage, no medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Are your windows old and tired? Hard to put up and down? Builder's grade windows just aren't made to last very long. Patriot Home Solutions is a different kind of window company. No games or gimmicks, no long drawn out sales presentations, just high quality, custom fit windows at reasonable prices made right here in New York. And right now, you can get up to $2,000 off new windows from Patriot and NYSERDA. Plus, get an upgrade to triple pane windows for free. Minimum 3 window purchase. Most homeowners qualify for the savings. And income is not one of the requirements. So write this number down, 315-401-0440. That's 401-0440. Patriot Home Solutions will tell you right over the phone if you qualify. Don't miss your chance to save up to $2,000 and get the triple pane upgrade free. Funds are limited, so call before they run out. Learn more at callpatriothomesolutions.com. That's callpatriothomesolutions.com.
Hi everyone, it's Lisa from Fit Body Boot Camp in Whitesboro and Clinton. The holidays can bring joy, but also stress, pressure, and a lot of overwhelm. That's why your 30 minutes with us matter. At Fit Body Boot Camp, you get a moment to breathe, a moment to focus on you, a space where no one judges and everyone supports. Every workout is filled with encouragement, positivity, and people who genuinely want to help you succeed. Come see why our members call this their favorite 30 minutes of their day. Happy holidays from Fit Body Boot Camp.
The holiday sale is on. Save up to $1,350 at Mattress Express on New York State's largest selection from New York State's largest specialty bedding store chain, Mattress Express. Hurry in, go to mattressexpressny.com.
Stewart Shop is excited to kick off our 40th annual Holiday Match campaign. Since 1986, Holiday Match has raised more than $39 million to support local children's charities. This program runs from Thanksgiving through Christmas. And don't forget, Stewart Shops matches every donation we receive. So stop by your local Stewart's, toss your change in the bucket next to the register. Let's have another amazing Holiday Match season.
Hi, this is Ray Durso of the Genesis Group. If you're interested in keeping up with events and news in the Mohawk Valley region, I have the show for you. It's called This Week in the Mohawk Valley, and it airs every Sunday on WIBX. Join us as we talk with area business leaders, elected officials, law enforcement, educators, and more. Don't miss This Week in the Mohawk Valley every Sunday at 9 a.m. on WIBX 950 a.m. 92.3 FM.
We have cloudy skies. We are still below zero in Utica and Rome, 3 below in Oriskany. Good morning. I'm Jeff Manaski. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM news time is 8:35. New Hartford Police looking for your help identifying individuals involved in a brawl at Sangertown Square late last month. The New Hartford Police Department, Sangertown Mall Security, and the Pyramid Corporation requesting help identifying those caught on camera and mall surveillance systems as the brawl erupted. It occurred November 29th at the Fun Nation, an establishment located inside the mall. Swifty's Restaurant and Pub on Genesee Street in downtown Utica has closed its doors. New York State officials say the business, along with its 2 other upstate New York locations, were seized. The issue, New York State Department of Taxation officials say, is failure to pay some $2.2 million in back taxes. The man accused of planting pipe bombs near the Republican and Democratic national headquarters right before the 2021 Capitol riot is now in custody. Attorney General Pam Bondi announcing that Brian Cole Jr. had been arrested. The pipe bombs were reportedly viable and could have caused major harm if they had exploded. The Supreme Court is allowing Texas to use a new congressional map designed to favor Republicans in next year's midterm election. A lower court ruling said the map was unlawful due to GOP lawmakers explicitly considering race when drawing the new district lines. Netflix is in exclusive talks to buy the Warner Brothers Discovery Studios. The report from Reuters says Netflix would acquire the film and TV studios of Warner Brothers Discovery along with its streaming assets in a deal valued at $28 per share. However, a group of Hollywood producers has written a letter to Congress speaking out against the potential deal. And the 2026 World Cup draw takes place today in Washington, D.C. President Trump and other dignitaries will be in attendance for the big event at the Kennedy Center. The tournament's draw sets the group stage of competition for the 48 countries who are set to participate. WIBX 950 AM, 92.3 FM News Time, 8:37. Here's a look at a chilly forecast.
Snow's done, but the bitter cold air now settling in for this time of year. Unusually cold. Starting in the morning now. Many spots, believe it or not, single digits above and below zero. The North Country, the coldest readings. And we'll climb out of this with lots of sunshine, but not going to help much. About 25, wind chills below zero, especially early. 14 tonight, so better than some snow showers around tomorrow. Not really expecting accumulation mid-30s and some snow showers on Sunday with a high near 30. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stidgick, WIBX 950 AM and 92.3 FM.
Well, we've hit a sweltering.
Are you sick of being just a number or doing a mindless job? Become a craftsman in a trade. Become an IBEW electrician. The IBEW and the Electrician Training Alliance will give you all the tools necessary at their state-of-the-art training facility. Earn as you learn. Paid training while you get your certification. What are you waiting for? Become an IBEW Local 43 electrician. Call or go online today to learn more. Find your career at IBEW and let the Electrician Training Alliance light up your future.
It all began in 1985 with a single goal, a commitment to brighten our community. And with your kindness, that light grew brighter. Because for 40 years, you've helped Food Bank of Central New York deliver healthy food and hope. But that need continues to grow. So this year, please consider giving a little extra and make sure the light we shine together never goes out.
Clue, live on stage, the uproarious new play based on the hit movie and classic game. Murder and blackmail are on the menu when 6 mysterious guests assemble for a dinner party. Was it Mrs. Peacock in the study with the knife, or perhaps Colonel Mustard in the library with the wrench? This fast, furious, and funny whodunit will leave you dying of laughter. Clue, live on stage.
December 14th and 15th at the Stanley Theater. Visit BroadwayUtica.org today.
The 2026 Seize the Deal golf cart is back, and it's about to make you the coolest gift giver this holiday season. For only $75, you get 15 rounds of golf at some of the area's top courses. 15 rounds, $75. Play favorite courses like Twin Ponds Golf and Country Club, Shamrock Golf and Country Club, and Sleepy Hollow Golf and Country Club, plus plenty more. But heads up, when they're gone, they're gone. So get your 2026 Seize the Deal golf card now at seizethedeal.com or log on to this station's website.
Hurt in a car? Call William Mattar. 315-444-4444.
100 years. This is Keeler. WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
All right, Joe, get tight in there if you could. You literally
How's that?
No. You have to be tight to Brian.
Oh, tight.
And then Brian, you come this way a little bit. I'm going to try to move everybody.
You got me moving to the right.
Bring your mics.
I'm going to the right.
To the right.
That's because I keep watching you move to the left. I just don't know what to think about it. Well, that's not true. And also, so we have Brian Miller, Assemblyman Brian Miller, Senator Joe Griffo, and County Executive Anthony Pacini all in studio here this morning.
Good morning.
Gentlemen,
Good
morning.
Good morning. So it's 100 years. This is wild.
You look good.
Yeah, good.
Crazy.
It's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
It is.
It is.
It's most of our. It's our lifetime. It's a good part of it. I mean, we were talking Brian and I were talking in the green room about, growing up our age, listening to baseball on IBX because baseball wasn't on TV every night,
right.
like it is today. You had a couple nights a week, maybe. And you had to listen on the radio.
And you had to listen on the radio.
Yeah, we called it watching baseball.
Watching baseball on the radio.
That's what we did. I still remember they talking about Joe Pepitone.
Yeah.
I still remember that.
Yeah.
And
World Series games on the radio when you were in school.
Well, and my parents used to talk about how if they did well in a class, they would let them get down to the auditorium, and on a little black and white TV, they'd be able to watch the World Series. Because there were no night games.
Yeah, we used to sneak it. We had a teacher that snuck it into the closet in the back.
Oh, that's even better.
In case the principal came in.
That's even better. A couple quick things. This is not about me by any means, although I just so happen to be here during the this 100th.
How many years for you?
It'll be 14 starting on January 1st.
I was one of the advocates that thought
you were, and I got to say there were many that were against it.
Right.
And you knew all about that because there were
talk to Mary Jo and Karen
and when I started here, there were cancellations. Like people canceled their advertising. And I'm like, you just hang in there. We're going to be okay. And you had some advice. And the advice, and I didn't follow it all, but I did in the beginning. Your whole thing was, you can, this will be easy for you. Just go down this straight and narrow, no crazy stuff, and you'll be just fine.
And
you didn't follow any of that,
I didn't
did you?
follow it.
And you hit your stride, though, too, because we also were very candid. If you remember, the first few shows were kind of weak, and we kind of told you that. And,
yes, and I loved hearing that from you. On those first couple of days, Joe's like, yeah, not too good, not good.
But what a group that with you had so many great people here, obviously, and when you look at the ownership and then the management team like Mary Jo and Karen and now Tracy, but you, Jeff, Andrew, Smitty. I remember
Christine,
doing Tony the Saturday shows. We did,
we
remember?
did the Saturday
Smitty
shows.
Was our producer.
What was that called?
We rotated.
Speak Out.
We rotated.
Yeah. Speak Out. Yeah. And Brian, I don't think you were a part of any of that.
No, I was still.
And Brian,
not involved.
I
was involved.
No, he was on the legislature.
I was in the legislature.
He was,
He was
but
on
I
the
gotta
counting
say,
board.
Brian and I have worked together, and I worked on your campaign since you first ran, and you were a little nervous. There was a time where you were nervous about coming on the radio.
Oh my Lord!
Yeah,
it was like, that
you
was
hated
one of the
it.
worst, that was the worst thing that I ever had to do in my life.
But now you slide right in. It's just as easy as can be. So.
Well, it's from good help.
Well, I'm not sure how much I helped, but you did a great job.
Wanted to do the Paul Harvey stuff. He was
I hate to do this, but we have to do this quickly because I'm going to bring in Mary Jo, and then Brad Davies and Brent Axe are both coming on.
Awesome.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Pretty excited about that. All right,
Go ahead,
let's
Joe.
start with you, Joe.
Yeah, well, we just have something. All of us have something to commemorate the 100th anniversary. We'll give you that, and appreciate that. You had many big events here. We talk about, I remember being on a show on 9/11 with you directly from New York City because I was down there that day.
Yeah.
Of course, we had a little music event that we had fun with, a small concert that you were involved with. Save the Griff at Griffiths Air Force Base.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic. I mean, these are all major issues over the last 20 years.
It's funny, I have a parody song for each one of those events.
Isn't that great? You should play the
except
parodies.
for 9/11. That's a tribute.
But on behalf of the New York State Senate, we're going to present this to WIBX, and
Very nice.
happy birthday.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. And the
Saying
county
here
executive.
From the county, obviously, it would not be fitting without a proclaiming the day of December 5th and the 100th anniversary of WIBX, and from the golden age of radio, as we say, to today, which is still, very important in our lives. I mean that you bring the news to so many, and a lot of different stories. So,
and when there's tragedy,
but we were saying, people tune in for, and something happens, and it's like, go to IBX.
Yeah,
and that's true, and that is true, or come to your show in the morning. I mean, obviously all IBX, but come to your show and you'll hear he's got to be talking about this, and he's got to be doing this, and so it's important for us, and it helps us get. I can't thank you enough. I mean, obviously, a lot of things that we do in county, getting the message out, but particular things like the pandemic that we were able to come on.
I was just listening to. I was up putting audio together this morning at 3, and I was just listening to the voicemails that you had gotten during COVID.
God, yes,
people calling you the worst names in the world for the mask mandate. How dare you try to make me get the shot? And
or for limiting how many people were in the house.
It was.
Those are Hall of Fame type.
Definitely Hall of Fame moments,
messages,
no doubt.
So.
And Brian, we appreciate everything you do as well. It's not easy to be down there and trying to maneuver through the minority. Actually, both of you have to maneuver through the minority.
But
these
happy
days.
anniversary, and some of the things. One of the things I remember the most was CBS Mystery Theater. I used to listen to it at 9 o'clock during the week, and it was really a big deal.
I love that CBS sound that we had. Obviously, Fox is a big deal today. But.
I also was thinking this morning, we were talking about like school closings used to turn into IBX because they used to do it. But I think, one of the other memories was, you guys are going to love this one, and my staff and everybody will love it, when Elvis died.
When
it was
Elvis
like
died.
On IBX first, I think.
Well, he was supposed to come to Utica.
He was
that?
supposed to come to Utica,
and that made it
even a big story.
Yeah.
Well, then we had Paul Harvey out at noon.
Right.
And a
which
little
was
story. You've been up to HLI.
enormous.
I was an engineer there for a long time. And
Yeah.
I always took a nap at noon. So I put my feet up on the desk. I'd turn on Paul Harvey.
Yeah.
And I'd fall asleep for 20 minutes. And as soon as Paul Harvey said good day, I'd wake right up and away we went.
And you
so
knew.
IBX.
That was you talk about appointment radio. That was lunch break. My lunch break when I was in high school at the time, and I would go out to my car. This shows you what kind of a radio junkie I was. I would go out to my car to listen to Paul Harvey. That was a big deal. Anything you want to add, Joe?
Hello, Americans. Paul Harvey here. Good day.
You knew he was dying. He's been dying to do that.
I knew it. And
you know
thank
he's been dying to do
Did you notice that Brian throwing the slow pitch to Joe? That's
He-
really
he
what
Well, that's
happened.
what it started
Well,
when he
that-
goes,
that-
I go, Paul Harvey,
that's
Paul
what
Harvey.
they-
So
That's what they do in Albany.
That's it. That is exactly it. Gentlemen, thank
Congratulations.
you. Thank you
Happy
very much. We'll break and come back here. A lot to squeeze in 12 minutes coming up at WIBX.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-923-6829 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-923-6829. That's 800-923-6829. What do you have to lose? Call 800-923-6829. Again, 800-923-6829.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code ROAD to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code ROAD for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code ROAD for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM. Now back to the Keeler Show.
And we're back on the Phil Stern Show. We couldn't get Phil, so we had to do the attempt at an impression. Tune in to WIBX for our Christmas Eve extravaganza, 6 a.m. until noon on December 24th. It's on Christmas Eve. Ton of guests and music and food, and by the way, it's catered and sponsored by It's a Utica Thing Restaurant and Bar. Catering. You can have your holiday party catered at It's a Utica Thing. You can visit their restaurant on Leland Ave in North Utica. Get your gift cards there. They have a great deal on gift cards, and you can call 315-738-8946. It's a Utica Thing. I want to bring in, I got a much to get to here, so let's bring in Brad Davies and Brent Axe. Gentlemen, good morning.
Hey, what's up?
Brad, good morning.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
I've got you. And Brent, good morning.
I'm just thinking about the time Phil Stern did like 3 days of shows on that he didn't believe lake effect snow was a thing. I remember that.
It's funny. We were just talking about that yesterday, as a matter of fact. Yeah. I find it interesting, Brad, is that you started with me, and you started as a young kid, and then sidekick, and then more of a team that we had, and then you came over here doing sports, and Brent started with you in the same way you started with me, and here we are all these years later. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like a coaching tree in football. The Keeler coaching tree runs deep.
Runs deep, and
radio.
I do believe the rivers run dry, I'm afraid, Brad, and it's a crazy world today.
How's everything going? 100 years. How many of them have you been there for?
I don't stay places very long.
But you've been there for a while now, haven't you?
14 years after the first of the year. It's crazy.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That really is.
Yeah, I'm not sure I did anything over 4 or 5 prior to this, so this is a big deal. So.
Exactly.
And
that's commitment.
And Brent, I got to say, you've done very well in, this business that we're in right now is just in a whole reinvention. I don't know what we're in the middle of right now, but the fact that you found a way to survive through all of this, Brad found a way. It's called real estate, and he's like, I'm not doing this anymore. But Brent, you're doing very well.
I appreciate you saying that. And look, I learned all that about innovation, change, go with the times from you guys. Bill, I've seen you reinvent yourself and go to different places. And 14 years, that's incredible. You've been there that long. And congratulations to you on doing that and having such a major impact on this great station. And, Brad would always tell me that, too. You got to go with the times and change. There's certain principles you stick to and what you do and do the job right for your listeners and your readers, whatever the case may be now. But, you got to keep going with the times. And WIBX has done that. That's why they've made it to 100 years.
You've really been Brent, you've been the anomaly, though. You went from radio to newspaper. That's just kind of unheard of, and certainly these days. But, Syracuse.com doing very well, and you're a big part of that. And, of course, obviously, Syracuse Sports, such a big deal.
Yeah, and the thing is, when I was at Herkimer, which is how I got the internship to work with Brad. Shout out to our guy, Big Papa, Gary Spears. He had this internship with Brad. He wasn't a big sports fan. He's like, hey, you want to come do this sports thing? And I walked in, and Brad's yelling about a Giants-Cowboys game. And I'm like, I cannot believe they pay this man to do this. I've got to do this, right? Yeah. But the principles are always there in broadcasting. You got to learn how to write, and I just always wanted to be like Chris Berman when I was in college. But you really bear down, teach yourself how to write, and hey, it paid off.
Yeah.
That turned out that digital newspaper thing. It's still going. So I appreciate
doing well.
Syracuse.com took a chance on me to do it.
And then Brad,
just so you know, I'm still yelling about Giants-Cowboys games as loud as before. It's just now only my neighbors and my kids and my dogs here, and they all kind of walk away when that's happening. So,
Brad, for those who don't know, you went on to Rochester and then to Houston. A tremendous talent, but then found this gift of gab pays off pretty well when you're trying to sell houses in Houston.
Yeah, it pays more. It pays a little bit more.
Does, yeah.
No, I did radio for 25 years. I did the Texans pre and post game show after I left doing full time radio. That was just a Sunday gig, but that was a blast. And then when Gary Kubiak, I remember specifically when Gary Kubiak got fired as the coach, that's when I decided, okay, I'm going to leave. I don't want to have to meet, start with a new coach and all that stuff. And so every once in a while I do fill-in work, but it's been a while since I've even done that. But I loved it, man. And IBX, you were great, obviously, starting with you. WIBX was awesome. I remember starting there. I had an hour show at first, and then I had to run Dr. Dina Dell for an hour back in the day. And, it was great, man. Yeah. I mean, everything leads back to Utica, and WIBX is pretty cool.
Well, Brent and Brad, we appreciate it. Thank you, guys. And hopefully we'll get you both on for our Christmas Eve show.
Anytime. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Bill. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Quickly, Marianne, Assemblywoman Marianne Buttonshaw, good morning.
Good morning, and congratulations on your 100 years. I have a resolution here that was passed in the State Assembly on May 25th. Apologize for being a little late.
No,
I have someone that wants to say congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We have to get someone to school this morning. So
all right.
Thank you again, and all the best. And
thank you so much.
86 more for you, right?
I think maybe. Not sure I'll get there, but
all the best, though.
Thank you so much, Marianne. And in studio, Mary Jo Beach.
Hi, good morning, Bill.
Good morning, and we're going to do a little champagne toast, and we wanted you here for this. I'm hoping that we can get you in next week when we can sit down where we don't have the chaos.
Oh, absolutely.
But 100 years.
100 years. I cannot believe that this station, I'm so proud to be a part of this station, and today thank you for inviting me.
Well, and I've said this more than once, and Jim and I were even talking about it, that this isn't necessarily about the people who are still here, although it is about us. It's really about everyone who's been here before us, including yourself. And,
all the teams.
Yeah, everybody.
Team.
And one quick story. I got a minute. One quick one for you that one of your favorite memories.
Oh, no.
One of your most crazy memories.
You can't say his name 3 times because we all saw Beetlejuice.
Oh, that's I remember the Phil Stern days, too.
Oh, God.
Lord almighty.
Oh.
Come in and get a glass of champagne, everybody. We're going to do a quick toast as we're coming out. Kill Meat will be next, of course, followed by Jimmy Fallon. I'd like you to do the toast. We have 15 seconds. Go
All
ahead.
right. Here's to WIBX in 100 years. It's like Utica cannolis and Utica greens. We are the heart of the Mohawk Valley, and we always will be.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Mary Jo Beach. Cheers to everybody.
Cheers.
Have a safe weekend. We're back here on Monday morning, and we'll continue 100 years.
Yay.
From the Stanley Theater Studios, WIBX Utica, Rome, WIBX 950 and 92.3 FM, celebrating 100 years.
A suspected bomber will get his day in court. I'm Kathleen Maloney, Fox News. Brian Cole of Virginia will go before a federal judge today. He's accused of putting pipe bombs at the headquarters of the RNC and DNC nearly 5 years ago.
He is now facing 2 federal charges. There are 2 pieces of evidence that investigators say were crucial in landing this breakthrough: Cole's credit card history and cell phone records. Throughout 2019 and 2020, they say he bought several materials that match the components of the bombs. We're talking galvanized pipes and end caps, battery connectors, kitchen timers, and electrical wire. They also say cell phone pings indicates Cole's phone was in the area of the RNC and DNC the night of the crime.
Fox's Madeline Rivera. Homeland Security arrests dozens of illegal immigrants in New Orleans in the last 24 hours.
Over 30 arrests have been made so far in an operation that set a goal of nabbing some 5,000 people. Now, on Wednesday, as Operation Catahoula Crunch was just getting started, federal agents nabbed Binh Van To from Vietnam. DHS says he's in the U.S. illegally and was convicted of multiple crimes, including kidnapping, homicide, and assault with a deadly weapon. He was sentenced to 40 years, but released on parole. DHS says a process is now underway to remove him from the country. With others suspected and convicted, crimes range from sexual assault to child abuse and vehicle theft. They're all being processed to be deported.
Fox's Mike Tobin. The U.S. Southern Command says it has conducted another strike against a small boat in the Eastern Pacific. It's the 22nd strike the U.S. military has carried out against boats the Trump administration claims were trafficking drugs. 4 people were killed in Thursday's strike, bringing to 87 the total number of people killed since those boat strikes began. On Wall Street, stock futures are